That's pure gaping.
We are on.
We're on.
Are we good, Jed?
Good, we're good. Good, Jed.
Are we gonna... That's the wee thing Fergal
sponsoring for you on there, yeah.
Sponsorship going. By
Avian.
Avian? The avian flu?
Leave you on.
Sammy, welcome.
Welcome, Sammy.
There's your wee Guinness. There's your wee Guinness poured by yours truly.
John Beatty.
There actually was a bit more of a dome on it, to be honest, but then it's calmed down a wee bit there.
So, getting everything ready.
Yeah.
Sammy some water, no?
Did you want some water?
No, I'm alright. I'm drinking. I'll only end up drinking.
Don't you fucking start, lad. Don't you
Cheers,
start.
lad. Congratulations, Sammy.
Congrats on everything. Don't you touch me.
Been busy.
You fucking
stopped.
last time you were here, you've been a busy boy.
Literally hasn't
I
stopped.
think you were chatting about the last man standing the last time you were here, like, so that's absolutely nuts.
Aye, so we haven't talked about that either in the podcast.
That's August.
And you came in third in that.
Finished third in that. Third. Anyway,
What's the
I was
racing-
surprised everybody
What's the
else.
ultra racing community talking about? Like, they're just seeing this random, this guy turn up and fucking kill it at these races.
Whispers.
So you came third in that, and then the Dublin to Belfast, you came second in it.
Second in it,
And that's
I don't know where.
that's like your second ever ultra, really.
No, I've done a few before, and I've done a few over in England, but
Did you?
they were not that kind of distance.
Nothing like that.
Nothing like the last man stand either. That's the first time doing it. Third place, so
Third place.
quite happy.
That's insane. That is
Exactly.
insane. If there was an audience here, we should be cheering. Look at you.
I tried to split the G, and I fucked it up.
It's not bad.
It was close enough.
It's not bad.
There's more top of the G.
But
Go, you split the G there.
do you want me to try?
Go, we'll give it a wee go.
Well, I've already drunk a wee bit.
Go,
No
just
pressure.
And then Sammy's gonna go. Shite. Go, Sammy. Give me a go, Sammy.
Don't you be so
I don't
good.
drink that often, so this is all new.
Aye.
A good 5 gulps. Usually you should do it. Depends on your gulps. Oh fuck!
Oh, nearly.
That was close.
I reckon if I said it, that there's not bad.
That's a wonky
Aye,
Guinness.
what's going on there? Are we all seeing this?
You're not splitting the G.
It is
Splitting that one. We'll just hide that one from
Can the camera
cameras.
see that?
Aye.
Dude, how good's that camera?
I could zoom in, but then I have to reset my frame.
Fucking zoom in. I'm joking. We don't need to do that. I'm joking. I'll take a wee live here of it. I'll take a wee
Look at
video
that
of it.
there.
Very good. So
What can you not do?
Give me something else.
there we go. I'll put that into the edit.
There we go.
Fantastic, Sammy. Welcome back, Sammy.
Oh no, good to be back.
What the fuck have you been at, anyway? How does it feel to be back for your second time?
Good to be back from a second.
Good.
Still listening.
You're still listening?
Aye. I don't think I've missed one yet.
Have you anybody since you've been on? You're like, great episode.
I tell you, I enjoyed the Shoe Doctor's first one,
Aye.
but the second one, even just hearing what he'd been since through
yeah,
the thing, and
yeah.
how he's dealing with it, very inspirational. Thought
It was
awesome.
nice to get a wee bit of recap and see what he's doing now. and
But it
stuff.
was just whenever he started talking about what had happened, you're just like, Jesus,
Nuts.
You know what I mean? I just thought he was away making shoes,
Aye,
and being a
making
legend,
shoes.
like as he had been.
He got a job there. Congratulations, actually, as well. He's working locally, a bit of design there.
Very good.
Graphic design. But I'm excited for him. Like, you know, when you get that wee bit of, what's that? What do you call it when you get it?
Financial freedom.
Financial freedom, but also that wee bit of clarity. They're like, right, this is what's more important. Is it this, you know, painstaking, stressful time all the time and making a bit of money, or step away from it a wee bit, pivot a wee bit and do what you want to do. And the projects he was telling us about whenever the cameras went off were like lethal, lad. You know, because he's doing his full-time job, and then the odd day here and there he's doing another project for like a mental project, and you're like lethal. We can't tell you. And we might tell you. No, we won't tell you. But
I'll see it. I follow him now. Yeah.
it's cool to see. Like, it is good, and it's weird because like we're bringing people back, and like we've so many followers since. Like, we're not fucking crazy amount of followers, but
I think when I rise on, it was like 500. Now it's like 2,000.
There was nothing, like there was about 300 people. What I think is still really nice, because that's local people like listening, which is lethal. And then whenever we're bringing people back, it's for me, it's harder to actually organise the episode because I'm like, how much do you tell these people? And you also don't want them missing out on the stories too, because we wanted to recap a wee bit with them, and people maybe forget a wee bit as well. Like, so it was nice, and that's what we're going to do with yourself.
What about your cousin's episode? What did you think of that?
Keith and Al, KB
KB
and Alex is
KB and the boss. KB and the boss.
The stud. She is
herself.
the boss right now.
She really is the boss. Like,
she does. She wears the trouser.
You could tell the yin and yang between them. They work really well together.
I came away from that podcast thinking like, Alex is the brains. Like, not that Keith doesn't, but I was just like, Alex is just.
Keith has the ideas. Alex pulls him back down. How are we doing it? Or Keith would just be like, get it done. Action.
You calm down.
It's funny because there's times I was kind of like, it's just coming out of nowhere, like things the gym was happening, and then you find out it just come out of nowhere for everybody else as well. Like, he just forget to tell me, but he forgot to tell everybody. He has an idea and he just goes with it. But fair enough, it works for him.
Surprise. So you've been following a wee bit of the podcast then anyway. I was saying there, we had a podcast there with Absolutely Shafted. Have you ever heard of that, boys? The podcast?
Well, I did whenever I listened to it.
Have you listened to a wee bit of it?
I listened to it all.
So we lost followers during that.
Did we actually?
But sure didn't we gain them all back? I was well sad. Like, I wouldn't look at the followers too much and numbers and all, but it was Spotify that you can see them, and they were showing up, and I think we lost a few, and I was like, fuck. And then a day later we got more. Like, they all came back. So I was just like, here. You win some, you lose some. Like, we had great fun that episode.
That was different. Yeah, it was good.
That was a different episode. Like,
it was good.
It was a bit fucking mental, all right. It was crazy. So this podcast, we're thinking of going through wee bits and pieces from before. We're going to do a quickfire. We're going to do a wee bit of your origin story again. Just a wee recap because we've more followers, and it's good maybe just to dip back into that. And then we're going to go into the Pathfinders a bit, and then your running career, and then ready for anything.
Sounds good.
That's what we're going to do.
Plenty to talk about.
Plenty to talk about. And we'll start with this quick fire.
We'll talk to him about
I know.
number 4 anyway.
That's alright, we'll skip that then.
No, skip that.
So, Sammy, welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's get into the quick fire.
Oh, straight in.
Chicken or fish?
Chicken.
Domino's or Sonny's?
I don't think I've had a Sonny's pizza. Well, I'm not a fan of Domino's. So I'll go with Sonny's.
Go with Sonny's.
Go with Sonny's.
Good choice. Notorious or Solo?
Ooh, Notorious.
Jaunties or Bryson's?
For
Bryson's does pizza now.
Oh, do you?
They're using, Matt Landers, the pizza shop.
Right.
He used to do
his recipe. Well, that's where I used to go, so I'll go with it.
Fuck, it was some stuff.
I haven't had Bryson's pizzas yet.
It's the same as your man there. Well, it won't be exact same. But it's still good. Like, it's still good stuff. We'll never do it like Matt, obviously. I mean, we shouted Matt out a few times in the podcast. I don't think he listens. Best Chinese in town.
Oh, I always Bamboo Garden. I had there from as a wee and still go.
Michael Holgate, I think, said that too. Was it? Did he say Bamboo?
He did, yeah.
Bamboo, yeah.
And then the other one in Castle Dawson Calories.
Calorie,
yet to try. And you give it a go.
Favourite fruit?
Yeah, favourite fruit? A pear. I like a pear.
I like a pear.
Good
A pear today.
That's a hard question. I eat a lot of fruit.
Do you?
Do you like a
Just
soft?
whatever's in the bowl.
Do you like a soft pear or a hard pear?
Oh, it needs to be soft.
Nice to be
'Cause
soft.
It used to be like a competition in our house
Right.
because you'd believe, it's too hard. And then you go back to the end of the
Is
season
this
and
a
be
pear?
gone.
Aye.
Somebody else will be gone. Somebody else got it right, and you're like, damn it. Left it today too late.
I've been making these wee fancy snacks for myself during the day.
Have you?
Like, cut up an apple
Right.
and put almond butter in each slice. It's fucking deadly.
Sounds alright, actually.
It's so good.
Aye.
Fancy man. So
That's very fancy. Mushrooms or beans?
Oh, mushrooms. I like mushrooms.
Mushrooms are deadly.
Trains or planes?
Planes.
Cars or bicycles?
Cars.
Shower or bath?
Shower.
Fergal or John?
Oh, I don't know.
Who's doing the Hydrox this weekend?
Doesn't matter. What's that fucking matter? What's that got to do with
He's
me?
better.
Oh, don't even start me, lad. Don't even start me. Cut this fucking podcast. Sorry, me and Fergal fell out off camera, and now it's rolled into the podcast.
Sure, we knew it was going to happen anyway.
Anyway,
I'll make him answer that.
Fergal or John, that's okay. You don't need to answer that. It's fine. I know. Sorry, Fergal. Shorts or trousers?
Shorts.
Table or chair?
A chair.
Custard or ice cream?
Custard.
Moon or the sun?
The sun.
Bear in mind, I don't ever ask you questions like that. Ever.
We're not going back to that question for a good I'm not answering it.
About the moon or the sun?
No, Fergal or John.
We've got an animal round here. A couple of animal rounds actually. I probably won.
Is it who'd win the fights or not?
No, I couldn't do that. NSPCA contacted us. Just stop doing. How was it? Fights on your podcast.
I love them.
This one. So this is like taller and heavier and longer and stuff. So, taller, an elephant or a giraffe?
A giraffe.
Yep. Heavier, a blue whale or an African elephant?
A blue whale.
Yep. Heavier, a hippopotamus or a rhino?
Ooh, a hippo.
Yeah.
Both wrong.
A
rhino. Obviously.
ChatGPT got to work out tonight.
What's I actually had these from before actually, so don't be such a cheeky fucker. Here, if you ever want to ask questions on the podcast, sure, you can start asking them if you want, like, so it's up to yourself. Anyway, larger. Which is larger?
Which is bigger?
A polar bear or a Kodiak bear?
Polar bear.
No, a Kodiak bear is
I
larger.
don't know what a Kodiak bear was.
You haven't a fucking clue. Like,
Where's Kodiak bear from? Do you know? Is it like a brown bear or anything?
Yeah. Longer. An anaconda or a saltwater crocodile?
Anaconda. I've had anaconda.
You've ate an anaconda?
It's like chewy chicken.
Chewy chicken?
Out in the
Everyone
jungle.
always says it's like chicken.
It's chewy, but it's very chewy.
What colour is it inside? Is it like a... Do you cook
like
it?
a white. Obviously
raw?
cook it. We're not eating it raw.
What are you giggling at?
We barbecued it. We were in the jungle and...
Oh, so you cooked it yourself?
No, so we went through, you kind of go different like survival things. And we were over the French Foreign Legion in French Guyana, so it's just north of Brazil in the Amazon River there. And you go out and you do like a bit of a day, so they have a bit and they teach you how to gut it and prepare for cooking on the fire and that. So
Nuts.
if you ever get stuck, you can eat anaconda.
If you're ever stuck. There's no
So
delivery.
they taught you how to gut it and everything?
Exactly.
Fuck. That's so cool. I'm just wondering how the fuck you got one of these.
What are you laughing at, Jude?
I was waiting for your next question. It's gonna be, can you get a filling of it with your
I wonder.
In the shop? Bird's eye. Snake eye.
Bird's eye anaconda.
Snake eye. Longer. Which is longer? Anaconda or a saltwater crocodile?
Anaconda.
No, saltwater crocodile.
I can't be right.
I just fair enough. I'm not arguing with you.
Quizmaster. Like.
I need a fact checker, boys.
I'll get you on the computer
Anaconda's
then.
massive.
Get you on the phone then. Go.
Is it a baby anaconda you're talking about?
It's a pregnant saltwater crocodile. Right.
The baby's half out the back.
Baby's half hanging out of her. Heavier, gorilla versus tiger.
A gorilla.
Correct. Longer, a Komodo dragon versus a king cobra.
King cobra.
Dragon.
Fergal's right. Sorry, Sammy.
They're massive, those things.
Which, the dragons, they're big fuckers, like, yeah. Larger, giant squid versus a sperm whale.
Sperm whale, surely.
Have to be.
Correct. Yeah. A Galai frog. Oh, that is. A Galai frog versus a hummingbird.
Is this heavier?
Which is larger.
Oh, larger.
Frog.
A frog.
Frog, correct. I don't know if this is extinct or not. Hold on. Larger. A megalodon versus a great white shark.
A megalodon.
Megalodon, they're like.
Is megalodon not extinct?
Yeah.
They are.
but they know what's
What are you laughing at?
I'm not here.
Just not here.
I know, but I'm just wondering. I obviously got
Hey, you
the
never know. The sea's a big place. There'll be one floating about
No, there
somewhere.
could be.
Loch Ness
he's right.
Monster. Well, just as strange that I looked these up and they're giving me.
My son could tell you everything about a megalodon. He's
Lethal.
like, he's autistic and he gets into dinosaurs.
Does he have
could
all the
tell you
books and all?
Oh, everything.
Ah, class.
He's like 5 years of age.
Yeah.
He's reading
Yeah.
fact books about dinosaurs.
Class.
And there's me trying to pronounce the name of these dinosaurs. And he's like, Daddy, it's this. I was like, thanks.
You bring him on for the next one.
And
We'll do it again.
My nephew's like, Uncle Fergal, did you know that the Stegosaurus had blah blah blah? I'm like, no.
Stegosaurus.
What's but like he would tell me.
That's why Fergal didn't know.
He would tell me all these facts. I'm like, I did not know
No,
this.
he's the same. He's the same.
Would he read a book to you at night? So you can go to sleep?
He could, yeah. He could tell me.
He's funny because he'll like go into different fixations, and he's actually just backing dinosaurs. So it's his birthday, and he's like asked me to buy him these more dinosaurs.
Lethal.
Yeah, like,
Lethal.
like, it's well interesting the way they just like
Focus everything. Yeah.
This one was actually sent in by a listener. So a bag of sugar versus a house cat, which is bigger?
A house cat. Well, it depends what side of the bag of sugar is.
Depends on the house cat.
Are you getting away the line?
Depends on the house cat as well.
Was this asked to KB?
KB actually sent that in. He says make sure you ask him. I think it is the house cat in this instance anyway. The next one's speed. So a cheetah versus a peregrine falcon, which is faster?
A falcon. They're flying.
They are actually. They fly.
They're flying.
Yeah. A hummingbird versus a housefly.
A housefly.
Hummingbird.
What's faster?
Well, aye, the bird. Home.
It says there's a housefly here. lads.
What?
To be fair, like they're wee. You know, they ever try to get to sleep one's flying about and you're trying to get it, like they're pretty quick.
Tough enough. The fuck.
Maybe if they had like a certain distance, because they get distracted, don't they?
It must be a wee drag race or something. They must have done a drag race.
Well, maybe had to do a couple of different races.
Which is
You got a
fast.
speed gun to measure that.
How do you do that?
Jackie Chan with the chopsticks.
Yeah.
Faster. A quarter horse versus a greyhound. I don't know what a quarter horse is.
We'll go with greyhound. Them dogs are flying right now.
It's a greyhound. A cheetah versus a sailfish.
A cheetah.
No, it's a sailfish.
Yeah. Must be fast swimmers.
I fucking.
Was it a land or sea? Or
Fucking must be. It must be both. It must be both. Like, I don't know. Don't know about these questions anymore. I think.
It's a great round, John.
I think we might stop the quick fire.
To be fair, this has actually been quite a quick fire.
We're nearly finished. It actually. We're nearly finished.
I think my last one was a bit there.
There's one more wee bit, and then we're going on to the origin story. Blue marlin versus a killer whale, which is faster?
A blue merlin. Don't even know what it is, but wheels
Is that
are
those
big.
ones that they fishermen love? Big massive.
It's big fish.
Big fat fish.
You're right. There's a blue marlin. Human versus a domestic cat.
Which is faster?
Aye,
A cat.
you're right.
Hey, 4 legs.
Yeah,
Cheating.
yeah. Fuck, cheaters.
Look, this,
lazy
if
fuckers.
you could go further, it'd be us.
I love reading the books about all that.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
But that's not the question, Fergal. There's one listener's question here for you that was sent in as well. It's what's wrong with your alarm clock on event days?
KB.
We KB again now. What is wrong with your alarm clock?
That's just, I don't wake up for it.
Were you late for one of your races?
No.
He says
an
all-
event with the gym.
He says all of them.
Not all of them.
He says all
Not
of
all of them.
them. He says for some reason your alarm clock doesn't work.
Do you know what it is?
During
I
events.
get myself worked up that much, and I'm like literally lying in bed. But like, I don't. It is what it is. Nobody fucking pays.
But Jim's,
But these events are like, I have to be here at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
One of them is literally like, I'm just going to stay up because I was treating Daniel and that with the diabetes, and I was like, I'm just going to stay up. There's no point going to sleep for 2 hours. I'm sitting on my phone and nodded off and thing, and I'm like, oh, I slept. I think I had about half an hour to go and I fell asleep.
3 a.m.'s pretty early to get up, like.
It's bad, but that's the thing, I can't go to bed either, because there's sometimes, like with Daniel, and you're up and you're down. I don't get much sleep anyway, but...
Do you know, can you survive on not a lot of sleep?
Aye, I'm pretty good at it. Done it for years, funny enough. You don't get much sleep whenever you're away.
You're not going to have much sleep for the hay rocks.
But I kind of go so long and then just bang in.
What about you, Johnny? You get much sleep at the minute?
It's okay. I could do it more, like.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I just.
This is another thing.
Somebody has to get used
It's a
to it.
newborn baby and all this going on. Keith's alright, because he goes and sleeps on the sofa. And you can ask Alex.
Yeah.
I wish I go sleep on the sofa. I wake up my backs and clip if I don't know.
No, I couldn't do that. Definitely not.
How many
Aye.
hours do you get, John?
I don't know. Fuck, not enough, maybe.
4 or 5.
4 or 5, aye.
You never slept much.
That's
during
plenty.
No, I didn't sleep up much before. Like, I'm a really bad sleeper. I
I am as well.
probably get
How long
about.
do you get? Would you be able to survive in like 4 or 5 hours?
Aye, Jesus, nights to get 2 hours. Oh, I tell you, I wonder if I can check my sleep in this watch. I reckon I got about 3 last night.
3.
See, after that race, did you sleep a lot?
No, I got home and slept from about 12:30 to 4:30, and I went to bed probably about 10:30 that night. And I got up at 6 o'clock before the rest of the house. Or I got to lie in on a Sunday after I run on the night. There you go. Not intentional, I just woke up like.
And you weren't sore?
See, even like if I go away or anything, like, oh great, no weans. We were away glamping there the weekend. Oh, get a lie in. Literally woke up at 6 o'clock. Like, I was sitting out in the hot tub at 6 o'clock, or I was sleeping on the bed. I was like, well, I might as well use it, son of you.
You need to use your days though as well. Like, it's kind of.
I go so long and then I'll like crash out. So maybe putting the weans to bed or something, that'll be me, and I just sleep. Or I'll be down like, you getting up? And I'm like, it's like, oh, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's me up. Then
I have
just
noticed,
crack
like, now I'm up at probably 6 every morning now. I just get up, even Saturdays, Sundays. There's people that just lie in during the weekends. I can't do that anymore.
No.
Like, just lying there and just waiting to be 10 on a Saturday or Sunday. I don't think it's worth it.
No.
I think it fucks your sleep up too.
That does.
Completely fucks you up.
You do it on a Sunday, and then your alarm goes off on Monday, and you're like,
Try and
There's
retrain that to you,
science behind it, like science, bitch.
Sorry, I'm distracting you, John.
No, it's
what's
okay.
next
We're just about to go on to the origin story.
Origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Sammy, for anybody who hasn't actually heard Sammy's last podcast, we had
my first ever podcast.
his first ever podcast, the OG.
The OG.
We'll not
Always
get
be
into
my first.
Well, oh, you'll never forget your first. But that was actually episode 24, and that was back on the 8th of May. So head back to 24.
That's mad.
That's nuts, lad. That's nuts. Nearly a year. We're nearly a year away. And you'll get a real in-depth, a nearly 2 hours episode of Sammy and his background and his Italian heritage. He's a very rich Italian heritage. And you just get into that and just enjoy that. But for the sake of this podcast, Sammy, I just wanted to go through a bit of a summary of an origin story, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Born and bred. Where were you born and bred?
Macrofelt.
Maharafilcha.
Mullaboy Heights.
Mullaboy Heights.
Whoop.
Very good. Mullaboy Heights, you're just down. Is that your family home still there now?
That's still there,
Are they the red brick ones? No.
No, we're...
Down a wee bit.
they're not as far up as that there, so you've got Highfield.
Aye.
And the next turn off at Highfield.
Callum Mackay.
Yes.
And
so
around there?
He lives down the bottom. We right at the top of our hill.
Very good. Very good. Many in your family?
3, me and 2 brothers, and then my mum and dad.
So who's the brothers?
Luigi and Jason.
Luigi and Jason. Yeah, I see them commenting stuff on the podcast whenever you're on it. Very good. School.
So they do listen to it. One's older, one's younger.
They're the only ones that listen to that.
That's it, 3.
Which one's the marathon runner?
No, he's the brother-in-law.
He's the brother-in-law.
Yes.
Sorry. That was us before the podcast. Apologies.
Right, yeah. That's good for the viewers. That's useful conversation there.
That's why I said it.
Yeah, no, thank you. What school were we at?
Macfelt High.
High.
Primary first, and then
Primary
high.
and then high. Good years.
Well, they were there, and I enjoyed the crack. I was a bit of a menace in school.
Bit of a crack. What was the army background there? Like, whenever you're at school, was army always on your mind?
I always wanted to go. My granddad on my mum's side was in the RAF,
right?
And he died whenever you were younger. But there was always a picture of my granny and granda in their wedding day, and he was stood in his uniform. It's black and white, so it just looked like an army uniform. I couldn't see the blue of the RAF. Otherwise, I might have changed my mind. And I always seen it, and it just always ignited a thing in me. And then,
really interesting.
I don't know. I just always wanted to do it, adventure.
Very good. Where were they based? Your granny and granda?
So, I think my granda was in Scotland, and then he met my granny, but they were down Donegal. But before that, he was based in Cyprus and stuff like that.
Right.
Back on that day.
Very good.
And he got out and drove cement lorries and polished his boots every night for going out in the cement lorry.
After the RAF?
I haven't polished his shoes since I left.
Tortured. Fucking tortured. Were you academic or sporty or what
I was
like?
sporty. I played every sport under the sun just to get out of class.
Just
like
choir, were you the choir?
I wasn't academic. Like I got my GCSEs because whenever I left school, I went on and done the electrician.
Yes.
The big one because my mum and dad wouldn't sign the paperwork at 16, so I had to wait. And then the day after I turned 18, I applied online.
What was the hunger there? We talked about it before, but like, what was that want to go to the army? Like, what did you have some influence? Obviously, RAF with your granddad, but then were you seeing things?
Well, like Afghan or Iraq and stuff, and that there was in the news and all that there, and I don't know. I ran about and I was always in the fields and all. Honestly, I couldn't die. I grew up. I always wanted to join the army. You know, everybody has that thing where they're playing policeman or fireman or whatever. I always played army man, wanted to go to the army.
Did Keith join first, or was it you?
No, I was first.
You were first.
Keith was allowed to join if I come back from Afghan alive. That's what his ma said. So,
good thing you came back.
That's the only reason why he joined the army. There you go. But I remember having that conversation.
You came back?
We were having like a bit of a do before I left, and she's like, "You can join if he comes back alive."
You were like a test run.
I was a test run.
You were the test dummy.
Luckily, I zigged and zagged whenever I was supposed to. Anyway, there you go.
Very good.
That's nuts.
That is nuts. And then, what was your behaviour like at school?
I was just anything, carry on. Well, it depends on what season we're in. If we're in sporty season, I had to get out of class, then it was alright, but I just enjoyed the crack, and I would have got up to a bit of mischief.
Bit too much? Good stuff. And what about then army enrolment then? So, 18, what was the day you signed up? What was the process?
So, applied online and then sent it away, and to be fair, I hadn't even heard nothing. It took ages, because I go through Northern Ireland, go through all the security checks, make sure like you weren't involved or your family weren't involved in any of the paramilitaries or whatever. So it takes a bit longer than it would do in England.
Yeah.
And at that point, there was a fella I knew, he was going to New Zealand, and I was half toying with the idea of getting my visa and going with him. I was like, yeah, you know what, let's just go and give it a bash. And then as I was thinking about that there, I got a letter through the post then, basically saying that it had passed that bit and a date. But I never got to open that letter because my man and dad opened it. It come with like the Her Majesty stamp on.
Oh, fuck.
And they thought it was a court summons. So I landed home, it was already open. They're like, oh, you never told me you're joining the army. I was like, well,
oh, shit.
I did whenever I was 16, but you didn't sign it. But I wasn't sure whether I got in because I had bad hearing before, so I wasn't really telling anybody. I was like, well, I'll see how I get on. And after I started passing it, then I started telling people. And it's mad because like, you go over and you don't know anybody, but you shouldn't get to know them. Like, and then again, it would remind you a wee bit of being in school too, like you have the laugh and the jokes and stuff like that there, but there's a few older people in Arbleton and they obviously didn't see the funny side, because if you're messing about you got hammered like and thrashed and maybe like change parades and you're out and they take you up and make you crawl through dirt and all. But all us young lads just like, a bit of crack.
Bit of crack as well.
But it's just mad, you get there and there's like press up position like you go in for dinner and you come out, you're in the press up doing press ups and everybody else gets out. So. And I was a fast eater, so I learned to eat a wee bit slower. It's just everything rushing and you run everywhere, you do everything.
The press up position.
Aye, and you just, but like at the time you're just like, oh, they're just constantly trashing us. But by the time you come to do your test at the end of it, you're fit to pass it because you can do push-ups. And it's quite funny because you're in the gym and that, and people are struggling to do, and you're like, the only way to get better at them is to do them. And it was true enough, like, because you're going there. I think I was like a twig whenever I joined Army.
Yeah, fuck us.
And then you just get thrashed.
I was going to show this. It's a wee famous clip. And the only reason is just we're gonna give a wee watch of it, and then I wanted to sort of say, you know, something similar, the experience.
I think I shared this in my story the other day. It was like,
did you?
With someone with a wife. It was like, does everybody else know the play? So it's basically the wife talking to them.
Oh shit. What's going on? Why is that not working? Oh, my heart's broke.
You can the TV.
Go to your sound settings. Oh, you're in PC, lad, that's why.
Is that why?
It's not why, it's just it's not going to be as handy to find your sentence.
Sorry, folks.
It's probably sending it to the TV and the TV's turned down. Aye. And play it out your speakers and all that. You've got other videos, lad, don't you remember how we did that?
Oh my god, what's going on? Is that right? I don't know.
Aye, try that.
Should we just play it and then play the sound over the top of it? You get a good edit.
Aye, later.
Aye, this is probably what we'll do, but we need to hear so we can. Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
Oh, not mine. Oh, the podcast is saved. John strikes again. Hang on.
Play it there.
I am Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, your senior drill instructor. From now on, you will speak only when spoken to. And the first and last words out of your filthy sewers will be sir. Do you maggots understand that? Sir, yes, sir. Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair. Sir, yes, sir. If you ladies
Great
leave
movie.
my island,
So good,
if
isn't
you
it?
survive recruit training, you will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death, praying for war. But until that day, you are pukes. You're the lowest form of life on earth. You're not even human fucking beings. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit. Because I am hard, you will not like me. But the more you hate me, the more you will learn. I am hard, but I am fair. There is no racial bigotry here. I do not look down on niggers, kites, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless. And my orders are to weed out all non-hackers who do not pack the gear to serve in my beloved cause. Do you maggots understand that? Sir, yes, sir. Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sir, yes, sir. What's your name, scumbag? Sir, Private Brown, sir. Bullshit, from now on you're Private Snowball. Do you like that name? Sir, yes, sir. Well, there's one thing that you won't like, Private Snowball. They don't serve fried chicken and watermelon on a daily basis.
John Wayne, is this me?
Who said that? Who the fuck said that? Who's the slimy little communist shit twinkle-toed cocksucker down here who just signed his own death warrant? Nobody, huh? The very fucking godmother said, I'll fucking stand it. I will PT you all until you fucking die. I'll PT you until your assholes are sucking buttermilk. Was it you scroungy little fuck, huh? Sir, no, sir. You little piece of shit, you look like a fucking worm. I'll bet it was you. Sir, no, sir.
Sir, I said it, sir!
Well, no shit. What have we got here? A fucking comedian, private joker. I admire your honesty. Hell, I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister. You little scumbag. I got your name. I got your ass. You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you. Now get up. Get on your feet. You had best unfuck yourself or I will unscrew your head and chip down your neck. Sir, yes, sir. Private Joker, why did you join my beloved cause? Sir, to kill, sir. So you're a killer? Sir, yes, sir. Let me see your war face. Sir, you got a war face? Ah, that's a war face. Now let me see your war face. Ah, bullshit. You didn't convince me. Let me see your real war face. Ah, you don't scare me. Work on it. Sir, yes, sir. What's your excuse? Sir, excuse for what, sir? I'm asking the fucking question. Do you understand? Sir, yes, sir. Well, thank you very much. Can I be in charge for a while? Sir, yes, sir. Are you shook up? Are you nervous? Sir, I am, sir. Do I make you nervous? Sir. Sir, what? Are you about to call me an asshole? Sir, no, sir. How tall are you, Private? Sir, 5'9", sir. 5'9". I didn't know they stacked shit that high. You want to squeeze an engine on me somewhere, huh? Sir, no, sir. Bullshit. It looks to me like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and then there was a brown stain on the mattress. I think you've been cheated. Where in the hell are you from anyway, Private? Sir, Texas, sir. Holy dog shit. Texas, only steers and queers come from Texas. And you
Says that a bit everywhere, doesn't it?
it? Down. Do you suck dicks? Sir, no, sir. Are you a beater pupper? Sir, no, sir. person in the ass and not even have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around. I'll be watching you.
Oh, there's the ads.
Oh no!
Sponsor us.
Get off.
Here we are.
Fuck you,
Sponsor us.
Grammarly. Even though I use it quite often.
Fuck you, Grammarly. There you go. I wanted to bring that up because obviously it's not real. And that's actually a good fact about that. That guy improvised a lot of that there. He was actually a real drill sergeant. But what was it like for yourself? Was there any characters like that?
There was.
There was. Similar.
Like, the first 6 weeks you're training, they're basically there to see are you going to last, and break you down, and then they build you back up basically. But it's a lot like that. Like, you fuck up, it's like head or face or head or body, and you're like body. You just take it. And
Really?
Go on,
Fucking hell.
That's the thing, But you know what? It's a lot better than what it was whenever we were leaving. Then all this guy paperwork, and then you're going on 10 o'clock show parade. So you just took a punch and went on whenever I was going.
Fucking hell.
That's crazy.
Well, like, even there, I had PT is all, like, that's the way it was. If boys were messing about or whatever, and they just a blanket punishment. Everybody got punished. So we were all like up crawling through muck, rivers, everything. And then you'd have like a show clean the next morning where you had a hand clean all your clothes to get them ready and stuff.
The next morning, yeah.
So you're up all night, like, basically, and then next thing you're in the lessons, you're falling asleep, so you get thrashed for falling asleep in the lessons.
How long were you in that the Irish Guard, was it?
The Irish Guard, so I passed out, and then it must have been about 6 months later I done P Company, because whenever I passed out...
What does passed out mean, sorry?
So passed out is after you finish your training, and then you go to your battalion.
Right.
How's the training?
What is it then, like 24 weeks or something?
Right.
About 6 months. Just over 6 months by the time you take a wee break.
You go straight over to the P Company after?
No, I passed out, and then whenever I got to the battalion, I kind of spent time in it, and then we moved to Windsor, and we ended up on like doing all the drills, so like Windsor Castle guards and stuff like that. And I was just like, I did not join the army to do this.
Yeah.
So I volunteered then for P Company. There was a big push because the guards para platoon in 3 para, so it's like a platoon within a company and is guards, and it was about to fold because they couldn't get the numbers, so it was a big surge. And then my sergeant major at the time was ex-guards para, so he asked for volunteers, and I volunteered and went. But like at that point, you're basically, whenever you rock up, I was in battalion about 6 months, you're just drinking all the time, and the fitness wouldn't be at the level you would need to pass that.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. It's better than going across and doing Windsor Guards and doing all these parades. I think actually at the time we were getting ready for the Queen's birthday parade. So you had 6 weeks of getting on a bus, travelling 2 hours, and doing drill all day on a drill car, and then travelling back 6 weeks solid to get ready for that.
Yeah.
And this got you off it. So I was like, right, P Company it is. I'll just
some
make
people
myself
like-
get
some
fit.
people like
Some
that.
people enjoy it, like but it's not what I joined for.
Yeah.
So done P Company then, and passed P Company. So quite junior, to be fair. Which is just an arduous course. It's all phys orientated kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a wee bit of soldiering, but it's mainly physical training.
How long's that take?
So we had a beat up, so we had done about 3 weeks in battalion, and then I qualified you to get on to the actual beat up, which was another 3 weeks, and then actual P Company's 3 weeks.
So
9 weeks
9
in
weeks.
total.
And what did that consist of? What was
So like 2 PT sessions a day for nearly 9 weeks. Not every day, but you had weekends and all that.
Aye.
When do you think the mental stability kicked in for you? Like, you know, when did you cross over from Sammy Lupari Mara Feldman till Sammy Lupari soldier? Like, what was there?
It's done in training.
It's done at the start.
It's done in training. Like, you're not getting through training unless you really want it. You have to want to be there. Or
Yeah.
like loads of people. I think we started with like 60 people in our platoon, and out of the originals, there was about 7 or 8 to pass. So obviously there's people get back squatted in and stuff like that there for not meeting requirements, and then you pass out with a platoon of maybe 30.
Yeah.
But I think there wasn't many out of like 60 that actually passed out because
And how
they weren't
quickly did
ready.
they drop out?
So there's like a DOR window, I think it was called. So like a window, it was in around 5 or 6 weeks, that allowed you to get out. If you went over it, then that was you're in for 4 years.
Yeah.
So quite a lot of people went with it. And there was other people just like coming in and, I done drugs at the weekend. They get kicked out basically.
Right,
Because
right.
obviously there's no tolerance for
They're not
drugs.
enjoying it.
And they drug test them, they've done it, and then away they go. You see all sorts like.
So how long were you in P Company for?
So you do P Company, and then I went across to the Guards Para and spent about 2.5 years in Guards Para. Done Afghan in Guards Para. So
Is that where you learnt parachuting?
so that's low level parachute.
Those sorts of skills.
So that low level parachute, that's just what we would call meat bomb, and that later then whenever you get into
Meat bomb.
you're literally jumping out of a plane and the parachute does everything. You can't really steer. You can steer it a wee bit, and you can't flare to land. You just hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. So we just a bit of meat out the plane, and the parachute does the rest. So
Meat bomb.
it's worse than going up high and jumping because you're doing it like 1,000 foot down to 600 foot.
Yeah.
And then like you have you get twists, all sorts. People break their legs doing that, whereas the high alt stuff you don't really.
You don't?
Obviously it can go wrong as
Is
well.
the impact in the from that?
Or you're not tight, but you're landing in fields like ruts and everything. You don't even know. And half the time at night, so you don't know what you're landing.
Nuts.
You were doing that in Afghan, like.
No, we didn't parachute in Afghan. There was no parachute.
Would have been too
In Afghan, you kind of went out and you were in a compound, and then you like dominated the ground around that area and patrolled the grounds and fought whenever you had to fight, and then like tried to gain more ground and stuff like that there back from the Taliban. So which meant then the farmers and the local people could have more of a life kind of behind you. So we had like a Shazad it was called, and we were pushed out round it kind of, and then you pushed out, and it meant then like. Obviously, all night they were growing poppies and all that there, and then in behind it, then they were actually growing stuff like corn and that for food and stuff like that. Whereas the Taliban were heavily influenced to grow the poppy, paying farmers to grow the poppy.
Yes. Why was growing the poppy? Was that drug related? No.
It's like about 90% of the world's heroin could be traced back to Afghan.
Jesus.
So that's probably going to go massive up. The price might go down if you're in there. Now that the Taliban have taken it all back, you get more growing.
Fucking hell. And then how long were you, like, how many tours did you do then? So you were Afghan.
So I done Afghan with Guards Para, and that was really the only fighting tour I'd done. Everything else, you're kind of like, it was STT, so like short term training teams. So you maybe go 6 weeks with like different forces, so Jordanian forces, and train them up. So at the time they were patrolling the border with Syria and stuff like that. They just train them up to like basically bring their levels, skills and drills and that there.
Yes.
And then like there's not many people kind of do the job that we would do, like advanced recce and stuff. So teaching them to do that there. So there was a lot of that involved. There was like.
So you were going around like different borders of different countries and kind of training up their military a wee bit, so they could they could manage it themselves.
And that's the way a lot of it went with. They're only hungry for war for so long, aren't they? And
What was the next step then? So you were doing, is that one tour then of Afghanistan?
One tour of Afghan.
And then after that it was those.
After I come back, and then I went on my Lance Corporal's course, and while I was on it, I got a message in to say I was going back to the Irish Guards. My time was up, because at the time people went over to Guards Para, they were fit to stay there, and then they just transferred and slipped away into Para Edge. But because the big drive, and they were like, right, well, we don't mind sending people, but they're coming back after a certain time.
Yeah.
So
why did they bring you back?
Beyond me, because then obviously they were getting a better degree. But they said you come back and you can transfer. It takes 6 months, whatever. But like I went back and I tried to transfer, and it was just because you're getting a highly motivated soldier back into the thing. So they're obviously looking to use you.
You're getting a valuable asset back, I suppose.
I kind of went on, and I spent about another 9 months in the Irish Guards, and it's again just in camp stuff. Like it wasn't my kind of soldier.
Where
I just didn't get. We were in Aldershot then, Surrey, so just like south-west of London, down that direction.
What were you doing there?
It's just like that's your camp, so you're like main station. You're there, and again we were back on drill and stuff like that. So it's just it wasn't me, and then
bit monotonous then.
I was drinking a lot, and obviously then getting in a bit of trouble and stuff like that there. And I had a fight, and I had a court case of the fight, and then they were trying to kick me out everything, and I was just like, right, I need away. And
clean up here and go do something.
Went and done the Pathfinder selection course.
Yeah. Well, how did you get into the Pathfinders? Like, how does?
So that was quite funny because I wasn't allowed to go. I was supposed to be going on like my corporal's course with the thing, and then I didn't, because that coincided with PF, but I really wanted to do PF. I kind of chinned it off and just didn't go.
What would the corporal's course involve? Well, what would have been your future if you had done that?
So then you're in the corporal, so you're like in charge of a section, And then after that, you just climbing ranks.
Yeah. But would it have
basically.
been very much active duty or active?
No, it's just you'd be in the same battalion, just in a higher rank, so you'd
Right.
still be doing whatever they would be doing.
Yeah.
Would it have been financially a better option probably for you to do that?
There's perks whenever you get the PF and you're in the high alt parachute pay. Even just going from the guard or from the parachute regiment back to the guards, you're losing out in about £180 a month. So like you're not making that in a promotion, especially as like a lance corporal. You're not making that in a promotion until
Yes.
full screen anyway, really. Until then you get into it and then it's all increments, so you could get it over time. And then, so I didn't go in it, so I got in a bit of trouble. And then they weren't allowing me to go in PF, but the way the leave fell, at the time it was the Olympics was going on at the time. But the way my leave fell, it meant the first 2 weeks of the selection carter was my first 2 weeks of leave, so I sacrificed going home. I actually brought all over the week before and we kind of had leave in camp, like whenever I was about. And I was like, no, I'm going to roll the dice at this here. So I went on to that course. I spent the first 2 weeks here, and then on the Monday morning, kind of after, whenever I was supposed to report back to Irish Guards after my leave, I get this phone, like, where are you at? I was like, oh, I'm on the PF selection card. But
yes.
there was an officer that was getting out at the time, and me and him would have went out in the motorbikes together, and he signed all the paperwork on it there, so it was all legit. They couldn't really think.
Yes.
And so I ended up passing, and come back to the Irish Guards, and again then, so they were all like, oh, you can't go, but there was a thing, you went over there and you'd done an induction carter just before Christmas, so it was kind of go over, get a bit more like patrol skill wise. I was like, look, I'm just going for the induction carter, it's the thing you have to do if you want to serve in the unit. I literally boxed up my room, jumped in the van, drove away, that was it.
Fuck yous.
No, over there, like, where's he at? I was gone.
You the whole room just going down the
And
road.
then once you're over there, like, they have a bit more punch because you're working directly to the brigade commander and stuff like that there. So once you're there, then they were laughing.
Really.
Because like, there's not many people that pass that course. I think there was quite a big number in ours, I think. Out of 50, there's about 8 or 9 of us passed.
How long's that course then?
It's 6 weeks. And so you get 6 weeks, that's the initial bit. And then after that, you're in, you have 18 months.
Is this the one with the loads of hiking?
All that there stuff, and endurance, and then into soldier. Yeah, and then you get in your 18 months probation. So basically, you have to be fit to, like, that there is just basically your selection course, and then once you're in, then you start getting trained into your patrol skills or whatever you're going to go on and do, and you have to be fit to perform at that. If you can't perform at that, then they move you on.
Nuts.
So like, really, once you've the selection, that's basically your interview to kind of half get in the job.
I know that.
Like 18 months is still a long time, and like you could go 18 months and still not be qualified and everything because it was that intense.
That's nuts. I was just going to read out something. I read it out before, but we're about to get into more Pathfinder stuff, few wee images, few wee videos and stuff. So, Pathfinder, who is basically it was from an excerpt I did before, and it was like, what is a Pathfinder? They asked this corporal was, I think it was one of the generals or something, was asked. He's a motivated individual, a man able to operate within a small group and be compatible with that group and be completely self-sufficient, a cut above the ordinary soldier. The Pathfinder operates in a tightly knit patrol, much of the time behind enemy lines. The Pathfinder can strike at any moment's notice in any part of the world, in conflicts against any enemy, and they need to be confident in defending themselves. Would you say that sums up?
That's basically what you're training for.
What you're training for, and that was actually taken from
the brigade commander.
Brigade commander it was a documentary filmed, the Phantom Platoon, and that was back whenever they weren't even being acknowledged properly.
Because it was like a pile of kind of outcasts, and they're like pulling weapons in from everywhere and stuff like that.
He actually mentioned it.
But it used to be a thing back in the 21st Independent Parachute. They kind of done, so like World War II, they would have jumped in ahead and marked the landing sites for all the planes and that there to come in. So that's where it come from. Yeah. And then, but you lose it as you kind of go to conflicts. Even like Afghan, they kind of lost because they ended up the Brigade Recce Force. So like whenever I got there, it was just after all the Afghan era was done, and that brigade then was going on for like any notice. So like R1, so you're on notice for anything in the world. So like the majority of the first kind of couple of years of mine was getting back into doing the job, like exactly what you said there. And it was just refining itself and rewriting it with all the new equipment we had and different things like that there, and sorting it out. So it was a good time to be there, to be fair.
What sort of training did you guys do for like hand-to-hand combat, or is there much of that going on?
You didn't do a lot. Like you maybe have the own insight. Say, we had this boy. He was nuts. he had a full-on ninja or something. He was called. He come in. I can't even mind his name. But like, and he had this other boy, like, and they kind of sit down at the scoff house, and they'd be like eat, and he'd be like, "Got there and eat his dinner," and that there. But hand-to-hand stuff, you wouldn't have really done a lot. No. Like our job was to hide and not be seen. If we were getting into that kind of scrap and we had been compromised, we'd done it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
And then like maybe our thing would be to use like you had fast air and stuff like that, or like calling in bombs and stuff like to strike something to then allow the main force to come in. So we're very much sneaky beaky. We could be sitting 4K away from the thing and watching the target, getting as much information as we can and sending that all back to brigade for them to make the plan for how they're going to come in to that country or region or wherever it's going to be.
So cool. It's really like adult hide and seek, isn't it?
Exactly that, yeah. It was good.
I do have a few wee questions about that. Actually,
I don't mean that as an insult way. That sounds really cool.
adult hide and seek.
That sounds awesome.
Talk to me about this photo. What part of your career was this?
That's in the Guards Para.
Guards Para. So that was before.
That was St George's Day down in London. Very sober at that point, was not by the end of it. We ended up in some pub and it was like the eel for free. It was just like absolutely total. So out there, so you can see there. Oh,
sorry.
You can see. So like you got the boy sacking in from the right. See the way the rest of us have like the blue, red, blue behind it. Mm-hmm. So that denotes you being Guards Para. So you have the guards thing behind your parachute regiment cap badge, right. Whereas like you can see. 2 down from me doesn't have it, and then 2 from him doesn't have it as well. So obviously they put all the guards on this parade because we know how to march. Whereas like you get to the parachute regiment, they wouldn't be the best at marching and stuff.
Because you already had that sort of experience exactly. Back at the
I think actually one of the junior lads taught the sergeant how to like call out the words of commands and stuff like that.
So we photo you put up as well on stage.
Yes.
Is this is this Pathfinder's?
Yes, so this is my patrol. Well, this wasn't actually my patrol, this was a good friend of mine's patrol, but I was the 2IC at this point in that patrol.
What does that mean?
So the second in command.
Right, okay.
So like his job would be more the plan and what it is. Mm-hmm. Obviously everybody knew what they were doing. My job was then to make sure we had enough food, everybody had enough food, who was carrying what. You had to know exactly what kit was where at all times, like, and you're going out the door with millions of pounds worth of kits. It's nuts. That's on the tail ramp. I think so that's actually a Belgian parachute. So we had done a lot of work with the Belgian Pathfinders and the Belgian SF. So that's probably, I think it's the south of France.
There's the colours of Belgium, isn't it?
No, that's our uniform, but the black parachute, so that's the Mission 30 multi-mission system. So that parachute actually goes into loads of different roles. So you can have like drone pull, or you can pull it yourself. Whereas ours is just one thing. Whereas like you go out the door there and somebody pulls like a drogue, which kind of stabilises you, especially if you're going out with big bags of kit in front of you. Nice. So we done quite a lot of work with the Belgians. So
that's crazy.
This is you go out and you're doing all your parachuting, and then like you maybe do a week-long concentration, and then you go and have a bit of a jolly.
That's class. That reminds me of the Power Rangers movie.
It does. That reminds me of the Power Rangers movie.
Because whenever you first start parachuting, you're just happy to get stable, but then you start learning, like if you put your leg, so see the way the legs are like. His is like driven out, so that'll be driving him forward into that square. And then like
so it teaches you how to like drive.
So if you pull your hands in and put your feet out, it pushes you forward.
Right.
So there's anything like you actually call tracking, where you kind of come in this and arch up your thing, and then it lifts you. So you kind of, it's like a slip and slide. It literally feels like it's when you just fly off.
That's
so that's what you would do to get away from that. So whenever you get to a certain height, you'd all turn around 180. And then shoot away, hold it for like 5,000 count, and then pull your parachute. And that way you know you're in a clear airspace.
Sure, that's just jumping out of a plane, no?
Aye, well.
Was it something that you would miss?
See, at the time it was good, exciting at the start, and that, but see, you know, you get 300-400 deep, like it's just on our way to get into work.
300 or 400 jumps.
So you just like
right away.
But like, I haven't done it in a while, and to be fair, it's all I'm thinking of doing again, because there's a DZ up and thing, like, and I have all my licenses. Probably just a matter of getting a refresher, and away you go. But like, I'd happily stick a parachute online and go jump out of a plane.
Just jump out.
And it's like riding a bike. Once you know how to do it, just there you go.
It's absolutely nuts. Like I don't even know.
It's only round about. It's not at all.
It's exactly like riding a bike.
I don't even know what to ask about this picture. Like I just don't even know what to
So
ask.
these here are our shits, the BT-80 that we would use. And so, like, they're a big parachute, that's heavy.
Yeah.
So, like, you do a lot of civvy stuff. So, you can see, like, this boy here, see that big bag at the front? So, that's the ballast pass to weigh you down because they're that big, otherwise, you just float around for ages if you didn't have, like, weight to pull you back down. Because they're designed to take you whenever you're carrying your full kit.
Right.
So,
Crazy.
It's things I'm not thinking.
Oh, right. Aye, so if you didn't have the weight on whenever that part.
you'd just be sitting floating around for ages. It would eventually come down because they're driven to take you down.
Aye.
But it would take you ages because they were that big. Whereas, like, you get I don't even know what size of the canopy, but you get a sports parachute, you're like zooming, you can, and the steer, whereas that there you pull it and it's like chug, 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 but it has to be fit the whole. So like this is where all the fun get taken out of it.
Yes.
Now you start jumping in.
That's hilarious.
And you start like stuffing oxygen down you, and you're like sitting on a plane like Afghan, and you're like, this is shit. But obviously you put the pictures up, and you're like, everybody thinks that's Ali.
Yeah.
But you had to sit in that plane for an hour, pre-breathing oxygen before then you go up the altitude to make sure you don't get hypoxic. So
That's crazy.
The things you complain about.
Lovely. And I have a video here. It's actually from that Phantom Platoon one that we were talking about. But it's a wee excerpt from it. I think it's like 8 minutes in for anybody that is going to look it up. It's where they're fucking talking about cutting open their throat. You know.
Right, everybody now feel the Adam's apple. We've got the little trench below it. And all we need to do is make a little centimetre incision.
So this would be med training.
You'll feel a definite pop once it cuts through the actual
That's
tissue.
your crike.
Turn the scalpel round and bang the scalpel in, so the hole's maintained at least.
Just to get people to breathe again? Or
So once it's in there, then obviously these are the processes you do in seconds. Okay, you've got your crico. All right, this is a 6mm crico. Okay, it's good for at least 6 to 8 hours without blood clotting. Okay, once it's introduced, you take the pipe out
And blow up the wee balloon.
Do you learn how to do that?
I was an advanced med.
Yes, I do, in so much as they are brigade troops, so they come under my direct command, OC.
And that's like mad.
Who works directly.
That is fucking mad.
Because we would literally be talking to the brigade commander. And like at the start you're kind of like, whereas like you see officers kind of stammering, but they end up usually.
But that is mad. Like that. Was that them actually training?
Aye, so they're talking through it. So like in the patrol you had different patrol skills, and I went on and was a medic. And as I said, like whenever we first got back, we were getting back into that. So then we had to develop an advanced med course, and it's like a lot of it's trauma, because if you imagine you were in and we were in behind enemy lines and it all kind of went off, but the main part wasn't to come in for maybe 2 days. We had to be fit to sustain that casualty. Mm-hmm. So I think we were trained up to sustain it between 36 and 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And like, so you go into criking, loads of different things, like doing chest trains, everything. So you went out to America, went to Sweden doing different med training.
Nuts.
So because...
So, and to be fair, that was class. The stuff you got to do was unreal. Huh?
Yeah.
Like live tissue training.
Sure.
So you run around Sweden with a pig, where they have maybe like stabbed it, given an arterial bleed, and then it's up to you to stay in the bleeding and do it all, and then maintain it and keep it alive.
Wow.
But the pig was sedated before.
NSPCA. The pig was heavy.
Wasn't gonna last anyway.
What was going to
But
say?
like, you don't get trained like that there. But actually, you're very fortunate to get to do it. And touch wood, I didn't actually have to do it.
Yeah, you didn't have to
But
use it.
it's mad because you go and you learn how to suture and stuff like that there. So like whenever I was on my sergeant's course, I always you just had your kit packed. Our kit was always packed in case you get called.
Yeah.
And I remember like you put out the fences and there was razor wire, and one of the lads like split himself open on this razor wire. So I got him over and took out my thing, started putting on my gloves, and the boys are like, "Oh, he's got gloves, he must know what he's doing." And it's like, "You don't have gloves, like you're just gonna go in with your dirty hand." But I stuck a couple of stitches in where he'd ripped himself open, stitch him up and that, and then next thing the person who was in charge of our platoon come over like, "So, did you stitch him up?" And I said, "Oh shit, I'm gonna get it." And he's like, "Aye." It's like, that's fucking mega. You're like, I thought I was going to get in trouble. I was like, was I not supposed to? He's like, where'd you learn to do that? And the next thing I was sitting taking a med lesson in the middle. I think I'm supposed to be on the course and teaching the students.
You're teaching them? Oh, very good.
That's unreal.
I was gonna come on to them again. I was actually wondering about that. Was it the trachea cut there? What situation does that actually is that needed? I've heard about it before, but
if you maybe got an explosion or that, or sometimes they get burned and then swell up and they're not breathing, so then you go in the thing and then
so like explosion.
Intubating even it's difficult, and then it's a lot more harder for. Well, to be fair, you don't really carry a kit. Like, anaesthetist do it in the hospital for a reason. Like,
it's the worst case scenario, isn't it?
But that day we would use that before because we didn't carry any intubating stuff. But you had things called eye gels, and like I think the ambulance service not using now, where they're basically like a big. They come and it goes down your throat, and whatever way it is, the gel like hardens and like going in your throat and causes a seal, and then you're fit to put the bag valve on it. The bag. Valve mask.
Yeah.
So then you're fit to breathe for them. So basically that's what you're doing there. So it's a crike, and then you put your bag on, and then you're fit to breathe for them to blow up their lungs.
I don't know where I seen that. Someone did it with a pen. They did
you see it in movies and all that.
I see it in movies. Yeah. House.
You know, house.
Never done it with a pen. But I've done it on the pig bouncing down and out lane in Texas. Because they make it as real a scenario as you can. So you kind of have a thing, and then next thing you're in the back of this pickup trying to treat this casualty as you're like evacuating basically. So you're bouncing down these roads in Virginia, in America, trying to stick a crike in. Because a pig's anatomy is very close to a human.
Yeah, I've heard that. I was wondering actually about navigation. So. Generated this earlier, so like the expertise in land navigation. So say for example for like terrains. So you mentioned there, and it kind of twigged with me. Like you're coming into Afghan as a Pathfinder, you're not fucking parachuting in. Obviously, it's so wide, it's so vast, easily seen. So the different terrains, what do you need to think about whenever you're going into a terrain? So say jungle. Say you've been left into a jungle, what would you need to be thinking about in terms of dropping into a jungle?
So, like a jungle, you're probably looking at, there's different ways of coming in. It depends on the scenario where you're outside or in, but you're probably looking at like maybe a heli abseiling or something, or we flew in a helicopter and just jumped into the Amazon River and then swam over into the bank, and then obviously you're into navigating through. But you're looking at distance depending on how you're getting in. So like a helicopter, it makes so much noise over a certain distance, so you need to make sure you're far enough out of that distance to make sure you're not going to be compromised of where you think the enemy are, and then you always add a wee bit just to make sure. So you maybe come in, the helicopter come in, you jump into the river, and then you maybe go firm for a bit and then make your way in. So whenever you're coming up with a route, you're trying to like avoid obvious places, like obvious crossing points and things like that, because them's the type of people you basically put on the foot. Like, what would you do if you were in that position? Because they're probably going to be doing the same to defend themselves. But like jungle is one of the hardest things to operate in, because you could literally be from me to you before you actually see somebody in the jungle. It's just could be that time, especially whenever it's really thick.
You're well covered.
You're well covered.
Interesting. What about a desert?
So again, like desert stuff, a lot of it would be mobility because it's a massive open span. So
hold on a second.
Would you fuck up?
Would you fuck up? Shut your dog up. That sounds like my dog. I feel bad.
So a lot of the desert stuff would have been done off wagons, because obviously that gives you a further reach, and like desert's massive open spans. So
yeah. So is that used?
It's only whenever you're talking.
Is that used coming or being transported in miles and miles away via plane, and then you're at the compound, and then do you load up onto the jeeps?
I see it have a
and then you jeep or lorry in close to the location.
You use like the jeeps to move your
and then, well, that's another part.
It could be like cross border or whatever. Like like the kind of they went to do in Iraq, but they ended up on the back of a 4-tonner driving over the time the like invasion of Iraq happened and stuff like that.
How do you? What's the approach then? So obviously the jungle, you're dropping in via air, and then say the experience you had with the Afghan, you're going in by vehicle. What's a Pathfinder's approach then when they come in through a vehicle? Like, how do you be discreet? So
again, you would use it to get to a certain place, and then obviously it's all done on map rackies, and then you might have satellite imagery and stuff like that, and you'll be looking to a place to get far enough away, and then that's where you'd like kind of make up like a bit of a hub. Because whenever you're in vehicles, you'd work as 2 patrols because of like one. If anything happens, one vehicle goes down, you can't really manage. So you'd work in 4 vehicles, which is 2 patrols.
Yeah.
And then you'd move in, and then like one patrol would maybe look after all the vehicles, while the other patrol then goes on foot off to do whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like a lot of the Afghan stuff would have been more drive along and see if anybody tried to whack them or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like overt more than covert.
Do you so I take it, would you be camping out and
Well, a bit more in camping out, I would say. But basically, you would find a place to hide them. Like in the desert, you're sticking up camouflage, like netting and all over the top of it, and trying to blend them in. So you normally find like desert isn't as flat as people think. There's like rocks and stuff like that. So you'd like find a way to back your wagons in that the weapons still have arcs, and you maybe dismount the gun up on top of the hill and stuff like that. But then they'd have a net coming off the wall down in, and like for anyhow, you're miles away before you can ever see it.
wow.
It's a lot of time, but it does take time to do it right.
What's the communication like on like a recce like that?
So you wouldn't really have communication back to wherever you're going. You'd have a thing where you have like a set time. So normally like first thing in the morning, and then just before the evening. So like the one before the evening. Like a check-in. So you'd have a set window. So depending on how many patrols out, you'd have like maybe half an hour long window, and you go on. It's like a satellite based.
Like a satellite phone or something.
You set it
You
out.
see
It's
them
all
just-
done in. You have like a laptop
You
like
see it in
that.
the films, just getting it up.
You have like a tough book. It was called laptop.
Yes.
And then so you're basically like sending back emails and things like that, all your imagery and stuff like that you take.
Yes, right. So you were mentioning there about the.
I don't know how much else I'm supposed to be talking about, but yeah, I'm well out there. But to be fair, like it's probably all out there.
I'm sure it is. But I was going to say there about where you are staying during that time. Like, so say you have the 4 patrols out and 3 of them are hanging back. The one patrol's going in doing a bit of recce or whatever to see what's going on. Do you go back to the compound, or are you staying overnight somewhere?
You could be out there for days, especially on a vehicle. Like you could be 10 days.
Yeah, what's that sort of like shelter building, and is there food involved?
So you have rations, and then you're basically sleeping in a sleeping bag at the side of the wagon on the floor.
Not even inside the wagon, you'd be outside of it.
You'd be outside the wagon. So you're basically like, if I was the driver, I'd be sleeping beside the driver's seat of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And then the commander would be sleeping on the commander's side, and then the gunner, and then you'd like rotate around, so there's somebody always awake within that vehicle.
Yeah,
so you're maybe 1 on, 2 off, or you maybe just push it 2 on, 4 off. So you sleep for 4 hours, stag on for 2.
What was it? I was going to ask something about that dog and fuck up.
But yeah,
What was it? I
think we should
Jude.
pause it for a pee. I'm on that.
I need a piss too. I'm going to shit the dog too.
Let's do a pish break.
Piss break. Jude. What are you fucking doing? Are we back? We good, Jude?
You're good.
Piss break done. Welcome back, Sammy.
I'll not talk as fast now.
But it was you were talking about the positioning of the sleeping around the vehicle, say in the evenings whenever you're on patrol, I suppose.
It's mostly during the day. We would do a lot of our moving at night.
I suppose you would, of course. Yeah. So you would
sleep during the day and
sleep
move
during
at
the
night.
day, move during the night.
Exactly.
Hi, that's really interesting.
No
Actually,
wonder your sleeping patterns.
no wonder you can do whatever the fuck you want to sleep place.
We always got it wrong, because you'd be like up all day planning, and then you deploy at night, and then you go all night. So you'd already done 24 hours before you were even looking at it sleep.
What was what way did you react to enemies or conflict during those sorts of sleeping moments?
So whoever was on sentry, then they'd just open up, and because we were such a small unit, the way our thing would be to react is like a massive rate of fire to make them think, geez, what have we just hit here? We've hit 100 people.
100 people.
And anything we done, even if you're in a 6-man patrol, like you're just you'd up the massive rate, get their head out, and the thing would be to extract. So we didn't really go forward.
Yes.
Our thing would be, right, we'll compromise, that's it, extract and find the place, and away you go.
Nuts. Jude, you missed that there, but you'll get it in the recording. But it's quite interesting. Whenever they wake up, or whenever they're not waking, whenever there's conflict and say they're asleep or even not asleep, what are you saying there? You just like
a massive rate of fire.
they just do a massive rate of fire on the enemy to make it look like there's fucking hundreds of them. Do you know that sort of way? So just and then they fuck off. And then would you actually disappear after that?
So you would get away far enough away to make sure you're out of trouble, and then you're on the comms. Like,
yeah,
and then
to
go
let
back
them know.
and then you get direction from there. So where it could be to pull out or right. Now we're going to go and do an attack, right? You've got fast air, whatever, coming and get on these channels. Maybe go and strike them with bombs from planes you never even see.
Nuts.
That's crazy. It's so far removed from anything that I've ever experienced that it's just so hard to like
fathom
that job at all. Like, just even being shot at, like, what the fuck? Like, it's, I don't know. There's no question there. I just find it really difficult to kind of understand.
How did you sleep?
Well,
during those sorts of nights or
like a
days?
baby, I had to be up every year or every 2 years. No, I was all right.
Yeah.
Did you ever contemplate
tired
it? Did that ever go through your head? Or?
Nah, like that's I was saying, like even whenever you're in, you don't really think. You're just thinking about the next thing. Like even if something happened or you got news back that maybe one of your friends had been hit or died or whatever, you're just like, you kind of took a moment and then right back to what you're doing, because if you didn't start focusing on what you were actually doing, other people's going to get hurt. So you just had to kind of switch it off, and then even again you didn't really think about it because you're in, you're just thinking the next thing, and the pace of life within it is just so quick. You didn't have time. That's why then I probably struggled whenever I come out. Before it actually, everything slowed down and it was thing, and you're starting to have time to think. And
yes,
that's whenever it all kind of come to tuition for me.
Yeah.
Well, we can touch on that a wee bit later on, because I know you worked through that, and you've got the gym and new program and all. It's helping in that sense for you as well. I was wondering actually about the equipment that you're using whenever you were there. So, likes of night vision and thermal and all that. Were you ever involved in using any of that sort of equipment to aid your
all the time?
recce?
Aye, all the time. So, yeah, it depends on where you were at or what you were doing, what equipment you would take.
Yeah.
But like night vision goggles, they were never off you.
It's just a norm.
No, they were just a
probably,
norm. So they were on you constantly. I've had them home and that there, and well, not home to here, but whenever I was at the house over in Colchester, and like my father-in-law and that looking through, I'm like, that's unreal. You know what I mean? Like my son and that, just like, this is amazing.
I try them on.
It's mad.
How visible? Like,
so like the ones we would have used in the early stage, that your depth of vision, so like you could see everything, but your depth of vision would be. So like you'd maybe go to grab be a wee bit off, so you miss the depth of vision, but like you could see as clear as day, but if it was really foggy or that, then you wouldn't really see. That's where then your thermal come in, so you'd flick them up and you'd have a thermal sight in your weapon, and you'd look through to pick up anything on
looking
thermal.
For the heat.
Looking for the heat.
Looking for the bodies.
Wow.
The body
handy
shots.
up in the morning sometimes.
I think he used it for something a bit more serious in the fucking mornings, lad. Jesus Christ.
You want to get lost.
It used to be great because you go on like your promotion courses, and the normal army would have just a monocle. So you'd have one eye covered and one eye you'd be fit to see. But like we were fit to sign ours out and take ours with us. So we were like air on lawns, so we were fit to see everything, and they were like walking in the trees and you're standing laughing at them. Because it's hard to work, to be fair. And like that's what I had in Afghan. But once you kind of got the Pathfinders in, you were down on, you needed the double vision for the two eyes for driving and stuff like that, and then parachuting as well. You'd have used them.
You were driving with those on, huh?
Well, how else you gonna see? We didn't have lights on around the desert. So like, but that's the thing. Everything was so slow. Like you weren't pinning it and going. Like you could kind of do it at certain times, but you got good at. You ended up. The more it's like everything. The more you done it, the more you get good at it.
Got better at it.
And like we just done it all the time.
See,
constantly.
this is why I'm asking silly questions. It's still so over my head, all this stuff. It's so cool.
As long as you know that. No, I'm joking. What I was going to ask there was, whenever there is that, say even thermal, say even night vision, you just do spot something. What's the protocol? Like, what are you like? As soon as you see someone, what are you then actioning?
you'd probably go firm and observe for a wee bit, and then to kind of see and try to figure out what it is. You could do different things, and it depends kind of distance, how far away, where you're going to pull back. Then you maybe go back and drop off the rest of the patrol, and you go out as like two, so your lead scout and the patrol commander then would push out and do like a recce, so do like a full thing around it and try and figure out what it is. And if it was nothing, then go back, lift the rest of the patrol. But if it's something, then you go back, you probably move back a bit further to make sure you're on compromise, break sked. So like back there, they're always listening to the radio, so you can break sked, report that you found something that you weren't expecting to see, and then you'd wait their action from there, and then go on from there.
Fucking nuts, man.
So sometimes it may be, right, that's not important, the way you go, box round it and make a big beeline round it and keep going.
Absolutely nuts. I actually have a video here. I actually don't know if it makes sense anymore. I was going to play it earlier. But I'll play it for a wee bit.
This is class, this video.
But have you seen it before?
So my friend made this.
Did he?
He was XPF as well.
Lethal. I don't know, let me just go back a wee bit. It is actually a really good video. It's
How long is it?
I think it's like 6 minutes, but we're not going to play the whole thing. We'll just play maybe the first 20, and then I was going to mute it. And I could
This
play
is
it.
about a joint exercise over.
Aye, that's right. Yeah, recently
Swift response or something.
Or oh shit, I had the name of it there. I can't mind.
The size of those planes.
That's a bigger one. I never jumped out on it.
Don't think it matters, Sammy.
No,
You still jumped out of it.
jumped out over hour. Like.
Holy shit.
So that's the meat bombing I was talking
That's
about
the big
MR.
one.
The Pathfinders are one of the UK's most elite military units. For many years, they never officially existed. Only the most tenacious soldier can become a Pathfinder. These men operate beyond the reach of conventional forces. They are revered by our adversaries, and for good reason.
What I'm looking for them is a very high ability to work independently. I need them to be extremely mature. I need them to be intelligent. And they've got to be robust, because they could be forward for many days on their own, living on their wits, able to send target information back to us, from which we can then do a day level plan.
At 18,000
Nothing better than sound like that.
Pathfinders prepare to parachute.
How much weight is it?
That's heavy. Like. But as soon as you're right under the air, all the weight's just lifted.
You need the weight though, don't you? Would the weight give you control?
Oh, because the wind obviously coming up, sometimes if that thing isn't sitting right, it can be pushing you. So you could end up having. So that's the kind of parachutes.
That's the better one there.
You can maybe have to fly your kit like this if the wind's hitting it. So it's how well you pack it.
Later, we're inserted into North Macedonia from the C-17 at 18,000 feet. And that is a genuine capability that we can rapidly push out, and within hours they can be sending data on the enemy back to our headquarters.
8,000 British troops deployed across Europe, the largest mass movement since the days of the Cold War. Part of the exercises, 2,500 airborne troops.
These are all to show Russia what we're capable of, and then Russia goes, we're like, oh, we're not doing anything. That's been half of my career there. But the last 5 years of my career doing something like this, because it's like a show of, not a show of force, but
Yeah,
basically.
we can do this.
We're ready.
Where we don't have the benefits of force protection around us. So each soldier will be expected to live on the ground and survive on almost no support for a protracted period of time. And that means they've got to be physically strong.
Foraging? We involved in that?
You would have had to do something plenty of times, because you maybe told you're going out for 3 days, but you have emergency food and you're always fit to make it last. You knew it'd come, but sometimes you would have either had to eat very little.
Could you go into the hills now in Marfelt, the Sperrins, and just live for a few days? Like,
Well, I don't know what's up there. But that would be part of your planning before you go out. You'd be looking at what's safe to eat. So
you know the wildlife, you know what's there.
Like the medic, that's the medic's job. You need to know like what's safe to eat, what's not safe to eat, what, blah blah. Because then you're kind of looking at what do you call it? You're looking to bring. Mm-hmm. So that's like the normal part. That's the meat bombing I was talking about. You see, they just get tight.
Mental. It's a cool video.
He's good, that boy. Like,
Very nice, very nice stuff. Must give him a wee tag actually. You start tagging people in these videos.
You do, yeah. Instead of giving someone credit.
Giving someone credit.
Credit where credit's due.
No, I do. I always do. But I'll put that up for anybody that wants to watch it.
I send the link in.
Because it's quite a cool one. Yeah, definitely will. Actually wanted to chat to you about your running career, Samuel.
Woo!
Whoop whoop! You'll be happy about that.
Yeah.
You'll be able to.
We've talked about it already.
You'll be able to talk to him about it, Fergal.
I could go to sleep in Fergal, can tell you.
I wanted to talk about this first before we get into the most recent stuff, because I thought this was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because it was my biggest 10 lessons from running my first 100-mile ultra.
Yeah.
So that was done. What's the date there?
So that's whenever I put it up.
Aye, but it was done a while ago.
That was done. Well, Louis looks about 2 there. He's now 7. So that's about 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Is that the Donegal?
That's the Donegal. So that's the
4 marathons.
You could either do 4 marathons, 4 half marathons in 4 days, or you could do it all in one. I decided to do it all in one.
Deadly.
So your biggest. I'm just going to run through them here. No plan survives first contact.
Yeah. So that's like a military saying as well.
So
like you can plan all you want, but on the day of the race, like it could be different. So like I planned that day, but you couldn't have planned for the second half of that race. You couldn't have planned for the weather. It was horrendous.
Could have been a shit show, like.
What was it? Super sunny?
No, so like look how sunny it is there, and then literally that night it was like a monsoon. So as you're going up over Manmore Gap, it was called. I had a head torch on. You couldn't even see the ground in front of you. And then that's where I ended up stuck, because you're just fighting the wind up over it, and then I wasn't running, and I just stiffened up. So
like coffee shop close to that. Is that more long?
I didn't stop anyway. I was in the middle of the night getting lashed on.
I would have fucking stopped.
In the middle of the night getting lashed on.
The next one is, if things are going well, it's an ambush.
It won't be long to us now.
It won't last long. The race is like a roller coaster with ups and downs.
I find that with long distance stuff, it's like
you have to fight that.
You have to fight the lows.
And then you shoot back in.
Hopefully you can just smile them off.
Pain and fatigue are going to be your shotgun rider for most of the race. Make friends with pain and you'll never be lonely.
I read that here in the book. I just thought it was class. Make friends with pain.
I like it.
It's really well written. It's a great post.
Listen to your body, not other people. You know better than anyone.
You know you better than anyone.
Yeah, so true.
Well, that's the thing. Like I see, I coach myself and do myself, because like I'm a dad. People don't know my outside of life, and like maybe you see people training for these runs or doing horrendous miles, but maybe they're sitting in an office all day. But like my average step count could be 35,000 steps in a day from just being up at 4 o'clock, working in the gym, out window cleaning, working in the gym that evening. So like I don't, and that's with no run.
Yeah.
And then whenever you start adding in runs, you can be up into 60, 70,000 steps. So like, do you really need to be adding in massive miles?
I struggle with about fucking 4,000, or getting over more than 4. Like that's.
I normally have more than 4 probably by the time you're getting out of bed.
I know. No, but I know that. Like it just, what I do.
What are you on today?
Actually, not many today. But to be fair, my watch battery was dead earlier, so look at that.
The next one is.
I was sitting learning all day today. I was at a course.
Do not overtrain and don't overthink it. I did far too many miles in the lead up and was already about to break on the start line.
Before that day, I fell up running. About 3 weeks out, I was like,
fuck this.
But like I was putting in maybe 80 to 100 mile weeks for 4 or 5 weeks. Like a bit out from it, like. But I had the time. Yeah. I was living over in England. I was actually in the army at the time I'd done that, and we had 2 hours every morning to train. So I was running 10 mile every morning, 5 days a week, and then a long run at the weekend.
Jesus Christ.
That's a lot of miles.
It is.
Whether it's time or distance, utilise a walk, run interval across the entire race. Go out slow.
Yeah. Because on that one there, like I run my first marathon, I think, in about 4.5 hours, but I was just plodding along. And then like the second one was just over 5. But I was running in places where I should have walked, whereas like there on the the last one I kind of walked round it, and the one before that there, because whenever it comes to the point then where you can't run and you have to walk, you end up walking for too long, and then you go to run, you can't run because all that muscle seized up. So I learned that the hard way, and that the last marathon and that took me as long as nearly the rest of the 3
Jesus.
to do.
That's tough.
I was a tough fight in that one.
Get that finished.
To get that one finished.
That's deadly.
Packed for the worst possible conditions. I didn't take near enough change of t-shirts or socks, and the weather was relentless in the middle of the summer.
As I say, like, look at the summer and then the rain we had, and I couldn't even change because I didn't have the.
Didn't have it.
Yeah, well, like I'm changing my socks there, but I had a kind of plan to change my socks after every marathon.
Feel
but
to prepare
to
to
feel, exactly.
Keep it simple and run the race in the equipment that you train in, and do not deviate.
Don't just deviate. You see people all the time trying like new food or whatever on the day of the race, where like it's not gonna.
The food thing's so important.
And you have to train that. I didn't really train massively the food that I was going to eat in that day. I was just kind of planning like, because we actually had a house in Donegal at the time. I was like, I'll just make something and bring it out to me. I'll eat it and crack on. I think I had lasagna and chips after my second or third marathon. Second marathon, I sat down and had lasagna and chips. The 10 miles down the road was like, I'd never had lasagna and chips on any of my training runs. You know what I mean? Exactly.
It's hard.
At the end of the day, gimmicks and the best equipment is not going to determine whether you finish the race or not. Keep saying to yourself, never quit, and in training, focus on time and shoes versus total miles, speed or anything else. Train as if you're going to be on the course for 25 to 30 hours.
Yeah. So, like, talking about that there is, again, even on that one there, I would have kind of went out and was like, right, to set myself 10 miles, but you can go out and do 10 miles and like you can do it in a couple of hours, or you can do it in just over an hour or whatever it is. But like, you need to get used to going slow. I think I done a lot of training for that day. It was a lot quicker than what I was actually going to run the race, and then that's why I ended up going out quicker at the start because I felt good. Where actual fact, it's just getting time on the feet because you're going to be on feet all the time, and by running quicker, you're taking more out of you, so you're hurting yourself a bit more. Whereas going slow, you're not putting as much impact up through you, so you're not taking as much away.
You listen to this now. This is good advice.
No, I've learned sort of the hard way myself.
This was my hard way, big time hard way.
Maybe not as bad.
Because before that, I'd maybe done a couple of 50 milers now, but you're fit to grizzly them and you could push on them.
You could.
But like whenever you're into 100 miles, it's a whole different ballgame. That took me 25 hours 20. I was 108 miles. And I'd done that one 21 and a half hours. So 5 years dropped.
Some fucking drop, boy.
Nearly 4 years.
4 hours, that's a long time.
Sorry.
It's a marathon.
Have a variety of food and drinks. It's hard to know what you may or may not want to eat at certain times in the race. Bring plenty of everything.
That's something I done really well for Dublin to Belfast.
Yeah.
So what was the diet for that?
So I had like fruit. So you had your sugar stuff. I had lots of like simple carbs. So
Sorry.
Crisps. What do you call them things?
Good
Rice
stuff.
Krispie squares. Exactly. It's like whenever I learnt that there on the last man stand, because I kind of brought sandwiches and chicken wraps and all that. Whereas you can only eat that for so long. No. So I maybe got about 18 hours in that race, and I didn't eat for 3 hours on that last man stand. And then it was Wayne, the boy that won it. He was like, "Oh, get a Muller rice, like they're really good." So we got Muller rice, and that's it. So like kind of Muller rices and sandwiches, just a mixture, because you don't know what you're going to feel like whenever you get there.
It's so true.
And salty chips, because you're getting your salt back and
Sounds
salty
good
chips.
at any time.
So there's like a picture of me eating
I think it's
McDonald's.
I think I've seen that too. Here's a wee video. Was it one of the mummy physios put this together for you?
No, I put this together.
Oh, you put this together?
I put this together.
Jesus.
I tagged the mummy physios.
Start doing all the re-videos, lad.
That's quite funny. I was just in the second place, like, come on!
Where's the chips?
At McDonald's. And I go up the hill. So you asked me coming down the A1, I have 100 miles down there. And look how well I'm running.
Oh, yeah. What? Who's that?
Europa.
My man Dan, the crew, and Paul.
What's the navigating like in that race? Are you doing it all yourself?
I used Tracker.
20,
There was supposed to be a
21,
map, I never got a map.
Some supporters.
Ah, no, it's mad. There you go, the medals.
Unreal, lad. Unreal. I really enjoyed that video, I have to say.
Mad.
It's very good.
Do you know, that was, so they started that there like April last year, so I think it finishes this month. They've been fundraising for over a year.
Brilliant.
And they've raised a mad amount of money. But actually, the time they were kind of mentioning about the fundraiser, my niece was in the neonatal unit, and I literally said to my eyes, like, oh, I'm going to help Mary Angela that day at some point. And then obviously I was glad to fit to do something like that there. But like over $6,000 raised off that.
Wow, that's unreal.
Well, they have more. But like just off that, between that period where the run was advertised to that, over $6,000.
Yeah.
They think they're like well into 20 grand, and they've already bought equipment and put it in. Which I like about it. She's physically buying equipment, taking it there and delivering. So it's not going to go in and end up dispersed everywhere.
We'll put the link sure in the.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, talk to us about the actual route itself. Like, what happened? Wasn't it you were ready to do something else?
So I was doing Dublin to Belfast, and then the opportunity came up for the Cowshed Backyard Ultra, which is a backyard ultra was in just outside Newcastle in England, and it was to run for Team Ireland against England, Scotland, and Wales. And so literally I had planned to go to that, and then on the Tuesday night got an email to say it was cancelled, so flights, everything.
What was it cancelled for?
Because the wild rain over there, and so the field was all flooded, and it's like in a farmer's field, and it's all off-road.
Majority of
so like anything went wrong, they weren't getting anybody in, and you couldn't get into the field to camp, and they couldn't get all the stuff in to actually run the race and all that.
Shit.
And cancelled literally on the Tuesday night, and I was like, shit. And then by Wednesday morning, I was on Dublin to Belfast.
And what was the distance? How many days? Sorry, not the distance of the race, but how many days between that cancellation and you going to Dublin and Belfast? Was it?
So that was Tuesday night, and I run Dublin to Belfast on a Friday.
Were you always going to run the Dublin to Belfast though?
No,
that's what I'm saying.
That was
there.
supposed to be that weekend. So the last man standing was I was supposed to fly on the Friday morning and do the run on Saturday, and hopefully Sunday and maybe a bit of Monday was the plan on it. But then obviously it got cancelled.
Nuts.
You're lucky that race was on.
That was the original one I had planned to do.
Oh,
it's the same week. So like, if you look at my Instagram, I announced I was doing that, and like a week and a half later, I was like, oh, actually, I've changed it. But it's going to be more challenging because like it's off road, it's in muddy fields. It's going to be a lot sore on you, like ankles, everything.
Doing all the training out in the mountains.
So like I went really specific on that.
Right.
And like it was a lot more elevation than what that was, because I think you stepped off on within the first mile there was a 500 foot of climbing, because obviously that's the first thing I do now. If I in a race, I'm like, right, what is the thing? So we are fit to get people that have done it before on Strava and see the things. So the first is 500 elevation, so I just started doing laps up and down the mountain in the middle of the night, and that's 1,000 foot of climbing. It's just over 1,100 on foot. So I was like, well, if I can do it up and down, and it's literally 4.2 mile if you went up round the long way to the mast, or to the corner of the mast and back down. So it was 2.1 up, 2.2 back, and I was doing it in like 55 minutes. So 5 minutes each on, go again. So that's basically like the setup off the last man stand. I was doing it up and down the
smashed it, lad.
But so no wonder you felt so good for that race with the elevation you've been training.
The elevation was fine, but then I thought, because it's all off road, I literally pounding tarmac. Obviously I've been running like my shorter runs, and I've done a few long runs on the tarmac, because it's hard to get them out all the time, like if you're leaving from the house and stuff. But
did you have a game plan
for Dublin to Belfast? So started Dublin to Belfast, I kind of, because I've been training to run 4.16 mile every hour on the hour, I knew I could go slightly quicker, so I was like, I'll run 5 mile every hour. So that was the goal, to stick at 5 mile every hour, and that's including stopping to refill my water bottles, whatever it was. 5 mile every hour.
Sorry about that, Sammy.
You're
Camera
fine.
overheated.
That's it. Looking at me.
The Italian stallion.
That's it.
I stole his joke.
Lucky I wasn't pointing at Fergal. So much better the first time.
Anyway, sorry everybody with the camera malfunction there,
jokes.
but we're good to go again. We're chatting about game plan. What was your game plan?
So game plan was to run 5 mile every hour. So every hour try and take 5 mile away, and that would bring me in or thereabouts. I was kind of aiming at 22, so it meant if I did end up hurting I'd be fit to push, because the goal was under 24 originally, so obviously you want to get a bit more in at the start than you do at the end. So I was chipping away at that. I was actually running with a fella, and we just kind of got to the point where he actually went over. I think we ended up, by the time I left him, we were averaging about 5'7" or 5'10" hours a mile. Five mile every hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know how that was so hard to work out. So then I was like, right, I'll try and pull it back a wee bit. So I left him just as I was getting in the night. I had torch on. He had to make food and that, and I was ready to go. I had my crew, because I was crewed, he was self-crewed. I got chips and got my trainers, changed my trainers, and away I went. And then started trying to claw that back a wee bit and pushing on into the night. But like, I done a lot of my long runs in the night where I'm quite comfortable in the night. So once my head torch on, I find you're not thinking about everything else, you're just focusing where's my feet going, and you just get in. It's a lot more rhythm for me. So I come in my element, that, whereas a lot of people's like, how do you do that? And it's like, that's maybe it's coming from working at night time all the time in the Pathfinders or something. I just get the head torch on and away I go.
What's the thought pattern there? Like, you know, whenever you're plodding along, you're saying you're plodding along, like, obviously I'm a civilian, like, compared to what you did in the past. So if I'm doing that, I'm like, fuck this, I hate this. I don't like running, obviously, but whenever you're in that mode, what is the actual train of thought?
Probably half the time is, I love this song. And you go, I don't know, you're just thinking, you're just basically watching where you put your feet. You're a lot more focused on what you're doing running with. Because whenever you're, like, especially you clock up the miles that I've kind of been clocking up, you just run, especially in daylight, you run around, I think you think a lot more. So like in that you're playing the race, you're kind of trying to play the race, whereas at night time, you're just basically worried about where you're going, where you're putting your neck.
Less things.
There's more in that. So you're just thinking, where's my next foot going?
What's your playlist like?
I don't know. I kind of flick-flack. I like a bit of Creed's, full beat. Yeah. Depends if I want to push or I'm just chilling, relaxing. Yeah. And then, you can have anything. And then you put on the like songs. You get Garth Brooks and all sorts coming through there.
23 hours worth of a playlist? Like.
No, to be fair, I think Creed must have, I think I was on a few times. I go through wee phases of what I listen to. I go, or maybe stick on a podcast or something. And run. It helps you to go slower. So like, once I started going faster, then Volbeat was put on. That would give me that wee bit more of a kick. Like, keep going.
Crazy.
Crazy.
And then what time did you say you came in at?
So I come in at 21 hours, 32 minutes.
That's insane. 108 miles.
108.1 miles. I don't forget the point one.
I don't forget.
That was probably the one I had to run off in the middle of Dublin for a pee and then go back on the course.
And you were saying there was like a point in the race where it became a race and not...
So I was, again, I kind of hit Dundalk and I was feeling good and I was kind of running a wee bit quicker into there, and I was like, you know what, it's actually easier to run that wee bit quicker, because I knew I was actually running out of water and stuff, so I was like, all right, I'll get here, I need food, have a 5-minute chat with Paul, who was crewing me, so I kind of pushed a wee bit harder, and I was like, it's actually easier to run faster here. And then I was going up the road, and I was like, I'm feeling good, and I was raising money, obviously, for the neonatal unit. So I started messaging Orla. I think I actually was having a phone call with her, and I mentioned it to her. I was like, do you reckon if I kind of get about 8 mile out, I go live and be like, look, another £1,000 in the kitty, and I run from Belfast down to the area neonatal hospital, because I was feeling good. I was like, I have the miles in my legs. I kind of knew I had the miles in my legs. Yeah. And she was like, let's just get to Belfast first. I think she was about to go to sleep. And I was just feeling on top of the world. And I was like, right. And then, so I kind of got off the phone to her, and I was plodding along, and I was thinking, and I was like, and then we were kind of looking at the tracker, and I was like, right. I was like, I'm starting to pull these people in. And I'd overtook somebody, and I was like, gee, he's in rag. I was like, if these people are in front of me, if I'm out too hard, they're all going to be in rag as well. Yeah. So we started plodding along. I was right, you feel good, let's go for it a wee bit. So kind of dropped the pace from like 13-minute miles down to averaging about 10 and a half. And I was like, right, I feel good at this, and kept going. And then I got to Newry. And I overtook, so there's boys sat at a station, and I just kind of come in, grabbed the Jaffa cake, give my name, so they knew you had been through the checkpoint. And away on I went, and they had already been in, probably about 10 minutes in front of me, but they had stopped, done whatever. We were setting off, and I come running on, and they were like, you can walk on this. I was like, I done all that at the start, so I'm feeling good now. And then that was into like the canal towpath, and like everybody was telling me about how dragged this towpath was. It's like a 12-kilometre stretch, and you see nobody down it from Newry to Ponce Pass. You literally run along the canal. It's mad. You just run in the canal, but the only thing was you could see pretty far because it was all dark. There was no street lights and stuff like that. And I started seeing these head torches up in front, so get the tracker out. And I was like, oh, aye, there's a couple more up there. So I was like putting it on. So I was like flying down this towpath. I don't know, I may have a record of it or something. I don't know. But I was like, oh, next one there. And then like overtook a fella again. He was just walking and he was like dripped over, and I was like, can't I ignore it? I was like, I think these boys will look too quick. And then got another one.
Boys when you're going past them?
I just because you're there, they're in a 12k stretch. Like, hey, you all right? Ah, yeah, I'm good. Or like just kind of hello, and then got past another one. And then my mum was at the end down in Ponce Pass, and she was saying like, people, oh yeah, and like, our son's the next one out. And my mum was like, no, I think my son just over to. Oh no, my son's the next one out. But they obviously hadn't refreshed the tracker. Loads of that was going on. My head was being done in. You hadn't refreshed the tracker, so you were like nearly taking the wrong turn. The next thing I popped out, she was saying, oh, she thought she was going to end up in a fight or whatever, but obviously it didn't come in. If I popped out, but along that towpath, that was me. I think I come into 4th position along the towpath. So along that, I got the phone out, and Paul, who was crewing me, so we were having quite relaxed, like changeover swaps, like the bottles, have a talk and chats and do whatever, and like maybe sit down for 5 minutes and then go. I was like, lad, this is now a race. I'm pushing for podium here. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yes, right. He goes, keep a steady head. Though he's very, like, to be fair, you need that in the crew. We're like, yeah, you're going, but don't go too hard. Don't go too hard. But the more I seen head torches, I was like, how far is that then? Oh, I know, let's go. And I was just, I don't know, because like I've done the races before like that, and you maybe 60 mile and you're like, oh, I can't do it. And you get to 80 and you're like, oh, feeling good again. Whereas this here, I just felt good all the way through. And I nearly got stronger the further I went. And anyway, you go off Ponce Pass heading towards Banbridge, and I overtook the girl, which put me into 3rd place. I was coming out of this thing, and my mum was standing. I have a video on my phone. My mum's standing, she's like, you're a machine. And I'm just like up behind, like, come on. Obviously, Volbeat was going on, and I was just like going up the road, and I was like, I don't know, I just like, I was enjoying it. I was like, I was hurting, but I was fit to push, and I was just going. And they kept going, and then in Banbridge, the Atlas crew, they had another station in Banbridge, and there was a boy sitting there. I couldn't believe it, because I hadn't even actually checked the tracker. And next thing, so he had stopped for food. I come past him. I was like, right. So again, didn't stop at that checkpoint, just bombed on through, because I knew we had our checkpoint. They were kind of pushing about 10k up the road, so in and around an hour and a half in between. I had enough stuff to keep me going for that. And I guess, as I say, the nutrition, having all the different things worked really well. So I never really flagged. And then got him. I think it was an hour boy actually before that, but these are the good ones. I got him when I went past. I was like, I'm in a second. I couldn't believe it. Kind of thing. I was running along, and then they could stop the chat. I was like, and they were like looking through the checkpoint. It had jumped on forward up the A1. So obviously these trackers that had people at DNF were in the back of this trailer. So everybody was like, no, you're not, like you're in 5th place. And I was like, I'm in 2nd place. And they were like, no, you're not. I was like, okay, whatever. I knew. I'm not getting into it. I know I'm in 2nd. And I was like, let's get first. But obviously he must have seen then that I was coming too. So he started picking it up. But like at one point them boys were 3.5 hours projected finish time in front of me. Yeah. And now I was back, like I think the boy first finished 45 minutes in front of me. But I got to a point, it must have been about 6-7k out, where I knew he was in, my hamstring was playing up. I was like, did I really want to push and end up like hurting myself? So I just pulled it back and walked a wee bit more and jogged it in and just enjoyed it. I was like, coming in 2nd place. I couldn't believe it, I don't know it. Do you know what? And it's gave me a real good confidence booster, because the more you do things, because I've had it go so wrong, now I've had it so good, but who's saying the next one could go so wrong again? Yeah. Like, you just got everything right.
Know the races,
you don't know, but like...
What do you think you did preparation-wise to prepare you for that race that made it go so right? What kind of things would you...
I had the knowledge from August for like training the food, the variety of food. So like even having fruit was so refreshing. It was unreal. Like pineapple, if you're doing an ultra marathon, have pineapple in your kit, because I could have ate, if somebody gave me a penny, I probably could have ate it. And just having the different variety of food, that helped, because obviously if you're not eating, everything starts going down. Training wise, I was confident going in because I finished the last man standing and I wasn't broken. Whereas like I've done them before where it's broken. I think it took me 3 months to get over that one in Donegal by the time I was actually walking, and all the pain was gone and was back running. Whereas like that, after the last man standing, I was up walking again the next day with the kids, so it was a wee bit sore. But a week and a half later, then I done another run, and I was like, so obviously it was good. But I think strength training is a massive part of that. But like for that, I was doing like the gym strength training and stuff. Whereas like before that one, I kind of dropped off the gym a bit earlier and was doing my own. So a lot of single leg stuff and like deadlifts and isometric holds, just to build up all the supporting muscles around what you need to run. Like obviously done my homework and knew what I had to do, and done a lot of it. So like a lot of stuff I wasn't doing before, like hops, but that all come from my rehab as well. And I just kind of like took my rehab and added weight. It's now my prehab. What can I do to prevent myself from getting injury? Yes. So if this has helped me get uninjured, it's going to help me if I add weight and make it a strength based, same range of motion, but turn it into strength and putting force through it. So then your body's healing, recovering, healing, and you're building strength in that area and being fit to come on. So like that was massive. Obviously, the stronger you are, the quicker you recover, which is massively shown. Because the one in Donegal, I didn't do any strength training. I was like, I'm going to run 100 miles, I need to be running. And a lot of misconception is like for runners, you just need to be running. What are you doing? You need to be running for. But like if you have the strength, like even just core strength for running is massive. So important. Where a lot of people overlook it and they're wondering like why their hips. They maybe don't realise it's their hips, but their knees are hurting, their ankles are hurting. But if something's not moving right, it's going to hurt some other thing or like locked in place.
Somewhere in the body,
exactly.
And it goes
everything else is going. So you need to work basically from the feet up. So a lot of my training there for about 12 weeks out of that race, I stopped upper body work and just kind of focused on like basically from here down. So it was all concentrating on having a strong core, glutes, fire in your glutes, because these are all the muscles that if you don't activate kind of thing, then they don't really be used, and then it's your tendons are just beating all the beating. So glutes, hamstrings, calves, ankles, feet, and just really went to town on them. And then again, kind of phased it out and just went running for the last month because the strength work was done. It was time then to use it and just build the miles. So I don't know, whatever. I kind of had a phase like a lot of strength, more strength-based stuff to get strong, with a wee bit of running, and then as the miles started building up, I dropped off the gym session, so went from 3 gym sessions to 2 gym sessions, more running, and then dropped to 1 gym session and all the running, and then eventually just all the running. So it just worked really well for me.
Have you done programs like that? Would you?
I could do a program like that, yeah. But like I've done my own program. Like I think if it's written down and it's on right, that's it. But obviously, like being a dad, it changes. But you try and do the best that you can with that. And like that's why all my runs are in the middle of the night. So I'd maybe Friday night put everybody into bed. I'd go to bed myself, set an alarm. So I could be going to bed maybe like whenever after the weigh-in's been 9 o'clock, set an alarm for 11:30 to be up the mountain 12 o'clock, to run 12 o'clock to 4:30, to go home and get showered and back in the gym for 6 o'clock. And then I would get up and go out to work again that next day just to get that sleep. And I wouldn't go to sleep then the Saturday night.
Jeez, that's some sacrifice.
And then maybe get up on a Sunday morning then for the alarm would be going off again 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning to go for a long run to get back in time 8:30 to get the weigh-ins away then to their go games or the park run, whatever they were doing.
No wonder you were so comfortable running in the dark like all your training.
Especially through the winter, you weren't really getting the daylight. Like. My head torch hasn't been off my head. The only time I got running in the daylight was whenever it was raining and I wasn't fit to work.
Tell us this, what's the new brand? Tell us a bit about this brand.
This brand here, Fergal helped design.
I'll stick it up on the video when we're putting it up. But tell us about what's the thoughts behind it?
So the thought behind it, with the name anyway, Ready for Anything is basically, so it's Parachute Regiment's motto, Ready for Anything. And it's just like being a Pathfinder, you're literally ready. You didn't know what scenario you're in, you're training for everything. And I just kind of want to bring that ethos into like where I'm at now. So it's kind of like how I would train to be ready for anything. I can lift things, I can move, and I can move for a very long time. And I can flick-flack. So like after I done the last man stand in August, 120 miles. 4 weeks later, I competed in High Rocks Dublin in the men's pro division. Like, I wasn't fully recovered, but I was still fit to knock it out, and with a reasonable time as well, of like 1 hour 20 minutes. I think I'm not quite sure the exact time. So it was quite to be fit to do that there. So I was just ready for anything and being ready for life as a dad. Because whenever I come home, like, I spent most of my time as a dad away. And whenever I come home and actually, like, you get into like helping your wife and doing everything, you end up, it's very lonely. That's what I found. Anyway, like, I don't know, COVID had a bit of it to play, but I quite enjoyed COVID. But after that, you're a dad, so you weren't really doing the things that you would normally do, like going and meeting friends and doing whatever and socialising. And then again, so that's where my mental health took a hit. And it's probably why so many, like, the statistics mental for like men committing suicide and stuff like that there. So my thought process was behind, like, I've been through this and I'm fit to come overcome it. So, and I'm in a position where I can help dads do the same, and it is lonely, and like, it helps me as much as it helps them as well. So I get all these dads, and like, the plan is, like, obviously to build it and have dads and have events where you get everybody together, where it'll be maybe meeting to go up a mountain for a walk and a chat and something to eat, or it's to come and do like a high rock session or whatever it might be, but just to get them dads that's on the programme together and like almost have an online community as well. So like, you're not alone. So like, if you're having a bad day or whatever, or you're struggling with certain things like kids, like, I have a kid with autism, maybe somebody else has a kid with autism, they're struggling, I can give my hints, other dads maybe have the same and they can help. And it's just about building, I want to build a community, an online community of dads that can help each other. Again, then with me being fit to train them, so maybe they lost away. So, and like, a big emphasis on the Pathfinders was being mentally and physically robust to be ready for anything. So like, through physical training, making them like mentally and physically robust. So like, a lot of dads, they have no energy to do things with the kids because it's all going into work and it's all doing the thing. But actually, like, if you take that hour to yourself to train and become fitter, you're actually like, it kind of contradicts itself. You're like, you're taking energy, but in the matter of fact, you end up with more energy. And then like, it's studies and that have all come out, like, you're more productive in work, you're more productive as a father, and you actually have more energy to then be fit to go and do the things with your kids that you want to be fit to do. And I think I know for myself, I put so much emphasis on trying to be the best dad I could be, like, on my kids. But it ended up then I lost myself, and then I was sitting there, I didn't know who I was. And now, like, using the gym and like the community and and push myself and doing all these ultra marathons and things like that, I found myself. I know who I want to be and what I want to do. And it massively shows on my kids. And as well as that, you're showing them like what's possible too, and how to lead a healthy lifestyle. At the end of the day, the best thing you want to do is give your son the best life. Well, if you show them how to lead a healthy life, they're going to have a longer, happier, healthier life. So, that's a massive part of it.
So say, how did you feel when Sammy approached you about the brand?
Very excited. Very excited because he explained it not quite as eloquently as that. You seem to have like really focused on what.
And that's it. And the more you do it, the more you learn of what you want it to be. Because I think you kind of have an idea. And I was overthinking. Because I had the idea for a long, long time. And I was just stewing on. I was like, how do you do it right? How do you do it? And it was actually KB that just turned around and he goes, there's no right time, just get it out there. And that's exactly what I was like, right, let's just put it out there, and I got it out. And slowly, it's hard because I'm working a lot at the minute, so it's hard to find the time to promote it and stuff like that. And it's like stuff I'm not really on, so I'm trying to educate myself as well as trying to do it. And it's just, so it's finding that time, and obviously as it grows, then it'll afford me more time to put into promoting it and stuff.
But it's also quite a new concept as well. Like, in terms of the message, and I think it's like way overdue. You know, in terms of the audience that you're reaching out to there. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great audience. I think you've hit the nail on the head with, you know, a niche problem, a gap that's in the community, in this community and a lot of communities So I think like it's only going to grow.
As I would love, like down the line, because at the minute financially I wouldn't have it, but I would love to get like a hub somewhere in Mid Ulster for meal. So like rather than this, your mate, let's go for a pint. Let's go to the fucking gym, lift a bit of weights.
It's a major problem, that actually. You know?
Go to the thing, because like drinking doesn't help. That's one thing. Like I've had a pint of Guinness tonight, but like I used to be where I drank, I couldn't control myself. And then next thing you could be this full day, and then you're knackered and you're wrecked for the kids. And so like most of that training block I didn't drink. I went to my brother's stag do in Benidorm, and I think I had 5 drinks the whole weekend. The rest of the day, I was rolling up round the mountain, and it's just prioritising. Like, what do you want? Do you want to go and try and better your life, or do you want to just go and get on the smash? Whereas like a lot of my time before that, when my mates was going and drinking, whereas now you have like a new group of mates. We have like a wee bit of a running group chat, and there's 3 or 4 of us. You always have somebody to go with, which made training a hell of a lot easier this time round. Out doing your long miles together up over the mountains, and it's class. You're just having a crack like 6 o'clock in the morning, running over these mountains, laughing, giggling, and just enjoying it.
No, I love that. Like with me and Jude would go out with a load of boys hiking up in the mornings, and it's great. It's a great day out. Like we just have the crack, and the amount of shite talking you do.
Aye, do you know what? I say it all the time, like, because I don't have that content. But the stuff you talk, see if I had if somebody could run by a camera. What do you like in running? If you mic'd it up and somebody run by a camera, I have months upon months of like things I could short and put it into clips, like we were talking about. But it's like find the time, especially, and you find the time, you sit down and you set your camera up, and you're like, what was I going to say? Like I've writ the things out now, but you say it, and you're like, oh no, I didn't come across that. Sometimes you just have to get it out. And that's one thing, that's my thing I have now for after the run, is getting in front of the camera. Because I think I'm trying to sell myself as, and this is what I want to do and help people. But I'm doing over photos and reels, but I'm not putting myself on. And people need to get to know me. Because I know, exactly, yeah. I think this will be good, hopefully.
I think it's a good start, like that, even that explanation you just did there now. Explained it so well.
Because it's hard to put into words, especially whenever you're like Wayne's are jumping over the top here, and you're trying to quickly squeeze it in before they get home from school, before you go out to work. And that's it. I'm getting better at it. But I know, and that's what I said after I got that run out of the way. And then hopefully, with better weather, I can afford to take time and maybe have like a day of recording content for the week, and like have a Friday, say.
That's my podcast. And talk to them. Like.
That's another. Like it's all down the line. Like it's just podcast. The brand slowly is beginning to roll, and hopefully
it is. Yeah. No.
Hopefully, I can take off.
Even seeing some of the posts that you did of like the messages that you've been getting from some of your clients as well.
Yes, I think I was actually pinned on the thing, like the feedback.
Feedback's been brilliant. Like.
And a lot of it is getting that social proof up, and I'm not that savvy at it, so I'm trying to kind of like, how do I do it and word it and get it up, so you're kind of like looking at ours and you're like, but I think you look at other people's and it's not you, so whenever I write it doesn't sound like me, I was like, I can't put that out. And then just trying to figure it out. Just get it up the fuck.
It is.
Do you know what? Like one of the ones I put up the picture, like the before and after, he's like, don't use that. But I've known him for years, to be fair. Look, and I was just like, I just put it up. And I was like, cheers, mate. You're getting you're in the shape of your life. I'm using these pictures.
Speaking of family, I was just going to play this wee video. Thought it was quite a nice wee one. Let's see if I have the audio up. I do.
The farm. The youngest wasn't here, he was ready for a nap.
In his garden?
I was up in his garden. So I got Eli, his birthday today, happy birthday. 4 of the day. I had them all in that backpack at one stage.
Did you?
I did.
That's a nice wee added weight for you.
Well, they went up the pylon.
Did they?
My 6 and it would have been 6 and 7-year-old walked the whole thing, and even he was 3 there, walked most of that hill.
Did he?
He did.
Fair play.
And they loved it.
Oh, it's deadly.
Is this what it's all about though, isn't it? Ready for everything.
Ready for everything. Like, you can go out and do this as your family. Like our away days, we're away what way we can, forest, this, that and the other. And like our Arabians love it, they love being out safe. So obviously the weather's been terrible at the moment. We have these waterproof suits, welly bits, away we go.
Away you go.
Away we go.
I'm lucky enough there in that day. But
Well, I've been up there with adults before they struggled to go up that hill. So I was buzzing whenever the kids got up that, like, absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
And I think, like, at the time there was a wee bit of complaining and that, but I think the fact that they done it, they were buzzing, like, after.
I remember we took our niece and nephew up, and there was a few times they complained about it, but they got up, they get up, and they love it.
We sit down every New Year's as a family and write out goals. So we set ourselves goals.
Right.
So, like, everybody puts in their goal. So, like, whatever it is. And mine was to walk a mountain as a family. So that was that one.
You've done it?
And I think the ways are really good at coming up with stuff. Really good. Like, maybe go to a forest and build a den or do whatever.
Really?
And,
That's cool.
and, like,
Very good.
I think we're 20 to 24 wrapped up already. I know, because once you have it, it's written down, right? What are we doing this Sunday? I think about it, right? We're going to do this. Let's go.
That's class. That's a really good idea.
Every year, that's like our New Year's Day. We get up and write it, or even before New Year's Eve or
It's a
whatever.
good idea for
Very
parents.
good.
Definitely.
I was going to ask there, with your program, Ready for Anything, after their first session, what do they hope to go away feeling?
After the first session, so worked obviously for being a first one, but everybody's different, and that's where the Ready for Anything is very specialised. So it depends on what you're looking. So I have a lad on, he's training for an Ironman in Copenhagen in October. He has a half Ironman in June as build up to that. So, like, his training is completely different to, like, Luke, who's looking to drop weight, be fit to move better, and have a bit of strength, and looks the part for going on holidays. You know, people have all their different things, and they're massively different. So depending on what they're looking at, what you give them basically.
Yeah,
so
the core values, I suppose, are there.
there's like, you're not going to give, like, that runner doesn't want a massive chest, so I'm not going to give him an upper body training program to get his chest bigger, because he needs his legs and he needs his aerobic conditioning and etc. etc. I'm excited for him. His is good. So his is actually funny because we're dropping weight to a certain point for him to be ready, because he performs better at that weight. But it's slow because obviously he's building his endurance, and you have to fuel your training. So it's very much like me. I don't think about diet and doing anything. Like, I eat and fuel my training to be fit to perform better. I eat for performance rather than actual, like, how I look. I don't care how I look. I just care how I perform. How I'm fit to move. Whereas, like, a lot of people eat and, like, you just get the byproduct of doing all your training consistently over a long period of time is you end up with a physique anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The byproduct.
So the Ironman, what sort of training is he doing a lot of strength training as well?
So he's on a day's strength training, and then a lot of it at the minute. The rest of it's zone twos, like kind of running and stuff, and then every so often you'd build it up and on the bike and swimming. Obviously, it's a hard thing to train for discipline, but he's got sore ankles, so you're titivating things and making sure he's maybe biking more than things, balancing to make sure you're managing that there as well. And getting there, but he's like, I've done triathlons and all that, but like for the kids, it's hard to train 3 disciplines. Like, especially a bike. So, like, I've done a few cycles whenever I come home, and then whenever we had the 4th child, I was at the end. The bike's been on the wall really ever since, because you're talking 5-6 hours to get a real good cycle, and whereas, like, you go and run for 2 hours, you're getting that kind of benefit of it, and you can't really go out cycling in the middle of the night because some twat will take you off the camera. But further down the line, like, it's definitely something I want to do. But like, he's performing really well, so we've done a few tests where he's went out and he's PR'd his half marathon, and like, he's looking to set a good time at these things. Like, he almost wants to be finishing on the podium of the amateur side of the Ironman is what we're aiming. So we're not just going for to complete. We're going to compete with him. So like, he went out there after coming off the bike and run a 1:35 half marathon comfortably.
After the bike?
Comfortably. So the aim is to try and get that there down before his half Ironman till 1:25. So it'll be retested soon, which then gives him a 1:30 for the day of the race coming off the bike. You know. So he's flying.
That's a pretty good goal without having doing anything.
But like, he finished that session feeling good. Like, and he was surprised, and I was buzzing for it. You know what I mean? But like that's just times. But like anybody, funny, you kind of listen. Like obviously you're educating yourself, and like they were talking to the person. Like he run a sub 4 minute mile. And they're like, what did that feel like? He's like, it felt like running a PB in any race. It's just that. But like this is like a renowned thing. He's just like it just felt like any. It felt the same way as like him running a 16-minute 5K. Feels the same for somebody chasing an under 20-minute 5K. It's the exact same thing. Whereas like people kind of see and they go put, oh, he's fit to run this here. Well, I'm never going to be fit to run that, and I put myself in. But like, how long? Like you're here at the minute, so why don't you? If you can get there, like that's an achievement. That's personal growth, and it's trying to get people to realise, right? Like, think about you, where you're at now. And like that's one thing I massively done for whenever I kind of get into fitness. I was looking at all these fitness people that were doing amazing things. They were like, and kind of trying to mimic it. And I think that's why I ended up injured last year. I was like, right, they're doing this. I need to be doing this here to be at that kind of level or trying to get close. Well, hold on a minute. They're not getting up in the middle of the night with their kids. They're not working jobs. They're not working things. And people forget that. And then obviously that's a thing, they can't sustain it and they break off. So it's finding that balance within being a dad of what you can do without sacrificing being the dad you want to be. And
which makes a lot of sense for the reason why you started the Ready for Anything and the ethos.
Because dads get it wrong. Like dads maybe find a kid that doesn't have things. They're like, this is your training program, but don't realise the other responsibility as dad has.
Yeah. Whereas
they get it in. Whereas like
your company or you can understand that.
I understand that.
But you're also able to push people at the same time. Like
they're being pushed, like, and they're being asked to do difficult things. Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can't just make it easy.
No.
Like I'm very much like, I have wee rules for myself, and I try and bring them in. So like non-negotiables and stuff. So like this is my non-negotiable. So this week, my non-negotiable is that long run, that strength session, and something with the kids. There's 3 things, no matter what this week, I'm getting them in. And it's starting to build habits like that for dads to have that thing. So then they're not sacrificing time with their family. They're getting in the main sessions that they need to hit. So I will like highlight, this is the main session we need to get in this week. Constantly, as long as we get that in, the rest can be like 70% of what we have in the books. That's fine. It doesn't have to be 100% all the time.
Very good. I had a friend of mine who did something similar where he kind of calls them like 5-star days. So he has like 7 or 8 tasks that he tries to get done today, and it could be something simple as like just drinking 2 liters of water. You know, like getting your water.
Daily habits. See, you build habits like that there, and then it comes a norm.
Sticking to your diet, reading. I think there was a few other ones, and it's like, you know, you're not always going to have a 5-star day. It's not.
No.
Can't always have a 5-star
exactly.
day.
Yeah, like especially your kid goes sick. Like, you can't be like, well, I have 6 hours in the hills. You enjoy rubbing his back at night. Like, you know, it doesn't happen. And then it's just about how you re-routine and get that run in somewhere else.
Yeah. Very good. There's a good segue actually into with another listener's letter here. It was actually from the Re Academy. They sent in, Sammy is an inspiration, especially as a dad.
And that's an art, just inspiring dads to be like, you don't have to, like, you can go and you can have your own life as well. Not your own life, but you can prove to yourself.
Mm-hmm. You can do these things.
Then you can do things, and you can do that.
Final question for you, Sammy. What are your hopes for the future?
Hopes for the future is to continue to build the Ready for Anything, so I can kind of go more full time into that as well as obviously working in the gym and getting to help people, because although it's online, I think very much for myself, I like being in that community as well. So obviously it's going to be great. Like next year, I would love to have some kind of thing where I get, so like I've got ones in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. I'd love to like get a central, bring them somewhere, and like I would love to get at the point that I'm doing that, so they're not out financially, that I'm fit to bring them all together. Right, this is our dads getting together, having a couple of drinks, sitting around the fire, doing whatever, maybe just doing activities, like enjoyable activities, mountain walks or kayaking or whatever. And like that would be the thing. And then further down the line is being fit to kind of get my own dad shack. I want to live in the country anyway. I would love to get like almost like a shack built, just for like dads to come and like just Did we had it? Well, obviously train because that's what I'm offering. But then hang out, like a bit of something like this here where they can sit and hang out.
Definitely.
And become friends.
Yeah.
And so they're not lonely. You don't have to go to the bar and get rat-faced with your friends. Because that's what happens. I think you try to do it as a dad. I know I did. And like waking up hungover, I cannot think of anything worse. Like, literally, even if I don't have the weans, I don't want to wake up hungover because I know on Tuesday or whatever the next day I'm going to be hungover as well. And you have all these things to do. So at the end of the day, I decided I wanted to be a dad, and I've had kids. So I'm sacrificing drinking, but it's not important. It's not a priority at all. But I can enjoy a pint, and you know what? You end up enjoying drinking more often, having one or two here, one or two there.
Especially when it's spoke by John.
You heard it here. It's the first nice thing you've said to me in this podcast.
You get a job.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Another great podcast. Thank you very much for calling. You had a good time.
Obviously, I always have a good time.
Did you
And I miss bedtime.
Don't say that. That's your dad.
I know, but you can miss the odd one.
No, thank you very much.
I love them, but you gotta get a break from them too. And like that goes the same for mums as well. Like, and like that's one thing. Look, I'm away into it again. Like me and Orla find a really good balance where she gets to do her training, I get to do my training, and it works well.
I think it is so important.
Finding balance. Was your last episode not balance in the community or something? Was it? Balance in the community, something like that. Anyway, thank you very much, Sammy.
Good man.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you coming back on, and
Twice.
The next chapter you'll be on again, of course. Fergal, you have a good time? Jude, you good to go? Camera's all right there.
He pointed that one at Fergal.
No, thank you very much, Sammy. Like to thank all our 2,000 plus listeners for staying with us. Somebody has left, but now there's more coming on.
Welcome back.
And all the followers, really appreciate it. And I hope you all enjoy it. Fantastic guest and Sammy Lupari back again. And we'll continue to bring you more interesting characters from around the local area. Here to inspire, educate, make us laugh, make us cry, and have the crack. And I hope you all enjoyed that. And we'll cue the board on.
Yeah. Oh.
Done.